That was intense.
That was an intense one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love
So
when
was
you
the
get on a roll like that.
podcast. Did you get it? I'm talking about wanking and anal sex because we don't talk about that very much on Podtoid, you know? Now listen, it's a story about a little guy who lives in a blue world. And up and down he is living in an house. What is blue? With his girlfriend over there. He walks down the street and he sees a blue kid on a blue bicycle. And he rides the bicycle to the shops. And he buys a blue cake and smashes it in his chops.
That's great. Did you make that up?
Yep.
You like songs that I don't like, I think. You must like that song a little.
I bought it on iTunes. Blue by Eiffel 65.
Yeah, from what I know of you, you have an awareness of your tastes being it's like almost all your pleasures are guilty pleasures, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I exercise the guilt by being as shameless as possible about it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that the more you let people know that there's something not normal about loving that song, the better. The better they can relate with you.
It's alright. It's alright.
It's all right.
Let's look at my iTunes. I've got the following songs, right? I've got some Alan Parsons, that's alright. That's good. I've got, it's a big prog rock band from the them times.
Oh, yeah, 80s?
70s, I think.
70s.
Or
Yeah, that is
the
more
Millions. I've got 2 Alien Ant Farm songs. Neither of which is the Michael Jackson cover. No Rain, Blind Melon.
It's a very cute song. It's got a catchy hook.
It's
catchy
lovely.
hook.
Yes. I'm not going to go through all of them, just the highlight, just the best songs. Sunglasses at Night, Corey Hart. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Nothing wrong with that. Walk of Life, Dire Straits. That's all right.
What is your face like when you're listening to this music? Is it just like a serious face? Like, yes, the Walk of Life.
Angry. I'm listening to Walk of Life and it's going do 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 do, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm so fucking pumped and angry at the world with these political lyrics. Blue brackets Dubba D. That's Eiffel 65. Little Lies, Fleetwood Mac.
Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies, that one?
But it's called Little Lies. I'm sorry, those of us who follow the Mac, that's the only song of theirs I've got.
It's a good song. You follow the Mac.
Music for Chameleons, Gary Newman. That's got one of the best intros ever. I'm not ashamed of that one.
I've never heard that song. Tell me more about that. Don't move on so quickly. Don't just leave us with a taste like that. How's that go? Sounds good.
It's fucking brilliant. Everyone should listen to Music for Chameleons.
People only know Cars,
Everyone, yeah. And this one, but that one's really good.
Okay.
Freedom, George Michael, obviously. What is love? I've got that one.
My friend's dad did the guitar work on What Is Love. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's Where Did You Go, My Lovely? Yeah, you did.
I've got that one. I need to get that one.
You should get that one. It is What Is Love, but not.
Too Many Broken Hearts by Jason Donovan. I bought that one yesterday. That was a #1 hit in the UK when I was 5 years old. I didn't like it back then. I had more sense. But now I do.
I don't know if I know that one at all.
I've got the best of Journey, obviously.
Yeah, I just bought that for my older brother.
And that's all right, you see?
He's loving it. He's excited about it. Yeah.
A couple of Silent Hill songs, you see? Keeping it in with what the kids are listening to.
Sure. Akira Yamaoka. A lot of people just can't stop listening to him. He's good.
I've got one Maroon 5 song.
Really?
Not ashamed of that.
Which one?
Harder to Breathe. It's the only good one they did. I've got Rock Steady by Mark Broussard. I don't even know who he is. I just heard the song in a Ruby Tuesday once.
I don't know that song. Is it anything like it's either called Shakedown or Breakdown by that guy who reminds me of a Honda truck. He is just a truck of a man. You know that song. Shake down, break down, take down, everybody's blah 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 blah. It's all right. Shake down, break down.
I wasn't sure what you were talking about until you said blah 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 blah. I remembered that. Then it all hit home. Of course I know that one.
He looks in the camera and says, "You're busted." It's really good. Come on.
It sounds like something I did know once, but I can't call
this
it
is
up.
Important. You should download this immediately.
Off my head. We're getting into a bit of alternative with Ockerville River and the National. That's all right. That's like, I think some of that's like proper douchebag music, so that's all right.
I know that song. What's the... Oh, Bob Seger, Shakedown. Come on. Great opening song from Beverly Hills Cop 2, performed by Bob Seger. You're busted. So good.
I've definitely heard it. If it's in any Beverly Hills Cop film, I've definitely heard it. But I can't really remember any of that. Turn off the light, Nelly Furtado. You get what you give, New Radicals.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, Boom, Boom by the Out Here Brothers.
Is that Boom, 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 Let's Go Back to My Room?
No, that's the Venga Boys.
Oh, my mistake.
Boom, Boom, Boom is, let me hear you say, well,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't as big in the US as it was in the UK.
Oh, I don't know about that. I was dating the captain of the cheerleaders in high school. And you when you hear that, you immediately think like, Reese Witherspoon or something. No, she was a relatively big-nosed, not terribly fit, curly-haired young woman who I was just madly in love with. I thought she was the best. We're still friends to this day, by the way.
Oh,
and all day, just, you want to do that routine again? I'm like, sure. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say, wayo, wayo. I'm doing the routine with her, the cheerleading routine in her living room. Doing the lifts and stuff. That song was big in my life, Jim, is what I'm telling you.
I think it was always popular at my school to go, if you're gay, say wayo, do it really fast. They can't hear you say, if you're gay, say wayo. Then when someone says wayo, they go, hey, you're gay! Slit his throat. And they'd slit his throat.
For the gayness.
Yeah, that's why I've got this scar.
Oh, because you were gay that time?
I was gay that time. I only joking. I got some good music in it. Peter Gabriel, Pink Floyd, Pulp, all classics beginning with P.
Pink Floyd, Pulp, what was the other one?
Peter Gabriel.
Well, sometimes he's a classic, yes.
He's fucking brilliant.
Sometimes.
I got 3 right from said Fred songs. Don't worry about that. That's thanks.
A lot of people dismiss Don't Talk, Just Kiss, we're beyond words and sound. Don't talk, just kiss, let your tongue move around? Is it let your tongue move around?
Don't worry, I haven't got that one.
That's a good one, man.
I know, I haven't got that one. I'm Too Sexy.
Oh, of course, that's a very good song.
Dippy and Wonder Man.
I don't know those other ones. Wonder Man?
Of course you don't. No one should. But I do. It's all up here. What else have we got? She Blinded Me with Silence.
Oh, that's a great song. That
Thomas
is a legitimately great song.
That is fucking legit. It's too legit to quit.
Absolutely.
Waterfalls, TLC.
What? What? Was that... Do you like that song?
Who doesn't? That's the question I want to know.
I have trouble with it. I wouldn't say that I wholly dislike it, but I would say I dislike 95% of it. I would rather listen to 5% of it and have it end.
Yeah.
Is that bad? Are you mad?
I don't know. But if I was mad, I would blow it all off and cheer myself up by listening to Mr. Vane. If you must know. Nice bit of dance, Eurobeat music to listen to. I used to have no, there's no limit on here as well, but I don't anymore. The Sign, Ace of Base.
Oh yeah, that's an important song.
I got some... that presents a really skewed view of my music.
Yeah, and how much of that...
pick the shit music that I love. I've actually got quite an eclectic taste, I think, because it goes anywhere from like fucking Electric Light Orchestra to Nine Inch Nails.
Sure.
My
You're a man of many moods, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm always in the mood for something different.
And you're not someone who adheres to one philosophy or style and says, I have to stick with this because this is a part of my identity. Therefore, I only listen to rap rock combos like Limp Bizkit. You let yourself expand out of.
Yeah. I think I got one of their songs on this and all.
Do you really?
Yeah, why not?
You didn't mention How Bizarre. You probably have that too, knowing you. How bizarre, how bizarre.
No,
ooh, baby.
I only remembered.
You know it.
I only remembered that existed the other day.
How do you like it?
I need to get that. I haven't got it yet.
Do you need
I
to get
remember. I remember that one. I need to get Mr. Bombastic as well.
Shaggy? Yeah.
Mr. Bombastic, I am a spastic. That's how that song goes.
Bet you $100 he makes you Mr. Ooh or something, right? You bet you $100 I make you go.
That. All I remember is going, I am a spastic. In school.
Goes. Have we started the show, or are you just talking?
We have. That was all.
This is the show now.
That was all comedy fucking gold.
That was. People love that. People want to know all about you. I don't know if you know this, but I started a new email account, Jim. It's called holmesupholmes@gmail.com.
Oh, yeah.
The email is specifically for questions pertaining to this new live stream talk show that I'm going to try to do. Probably not this weekend, but hopefully the following weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about that. You're doing a live stream podcast / talk show. Called Sup Holmes. I know Conrad Zimmerman has been helping you with it.
It turns out, he told me yesterday, he's never going to be on it. He's refusing to be on it in any way, but he is doing the technical stuff. He's going to, cut to the clip, and he's going to play the videos that people send in and the questions that they send in via MP3 or audio format. But anyway, so I started this Gmail account for it, and people have asked a lot of questions, which has been great. Hopefully I can ask most of them. But of course, someone said, subject line, for Jim Sterling. And I'm like, okay, all right.
There are so many ways to get to me. Why do they feel they have to go through you? Like you're the little dwarf woman from Poltergeist.
And it's not like I have an email account. I have 2 email accounts. A lot of them are well known. There's plenty of ways to get to me if you just wanted to ask me, hey, Jim, but this is an email account specifically set up. It's called Holmes Sup Holmes.
Yeah.
For the show Sup Holmes. There's only one way to know about it, because it's for the show. It was just, hey, can you show Jim this cool painting I found?
Hey, you didn't show me any cool painting.
No, I got a little bit snippy, and I hope that's okay. I wrote in all caps.
I said last week, all you do is moan. It's like, oh my god, I hate Jim Sterling. I hate thinking about him.
I sent him an email saying, Jim is just as accessible by email as me. Here's his email. You should show him the painting. And I guess he never did. Because as I've found out, you are incredibly intimidating to people because you are so famous and important.
So people have told me that before. I've had people that actually do talk to me. They're like, oh, I put off talking to you because I was doing a scared of you for a bit. And I'm like,
They like you, but they're scared that... They're scared to even just say, hey, here's this painting I thought you'd like. Yeah. You haven't gotten the email, I presume, showing it's a xenomorph painting, I think.
No.
He has not emailed. He's too scared. He's probably listening to this right now.
I mean, unless I didn't, because there is one problem with emailing me, is it can get buried pretty quick, because obviously I get like 12,000 million emails a day. Yeah. Could have been buried, but I don't remember seeing anything. Your best bet is to get me on Twitter, or at Jim Sterling, all one word, or just fucking add me on Facebook. Like, nothing misses me on Facebook, I guess, because I've been using it a bit more for promotion and political complaining, so that you can get me there. I'm really not worth being in any way intimidated by or frightened of, and if you see me at a party at PAX, don't just stare at me, because that makes me feel like an asshole. That happened. That happens at pretty much every PAX. I've only done 2 PAXs, but I go to a party and no one talks to me. I feel like I've done something, or like I've intruded or gate crashed. I found out later that everyone's, wanted to say something, or they only come up after they've had 10 drinks, and then they come up to me and say, "I like you." And by the time I'm also that drunk, and I just go, "Oh, I'm glad you do," and then there are hand jobs. So I don't know, but people will, when I first go to a party, just look at me, and then I get very self-conscious, and I feel like I shouldn't have come.
Yeah, that happens to me a tiny, tiny bit, but I see it happen to you at most of the parties we go to. Speaking of looking at people and feeling self-conscious, Lee Alexander contacted me on Twitter recently and said that we should be friends now. And she also said, I'll be on Podtoid anytime you want. And this is someone I've always looked at awkwardly but never spoken to. She's friends with our mutual friend, Colette Bennett. So it's like, oh, you're friends with my friend. But at the same time, she's said things that are kind of mean about people I do like. So I'm like, maybe you hate my friend, my other friend. So maybe, I don't know if you like me or hate me. I've always liked her writing a lot, though. And she seems nice
I don't know where I am with her. She's strange like that. Like, one day she'll write about me saying, you know what, I'll be glad if he never writes another word again. And then I'll see her later and she's like all hugs and everything.
I think that maybe because Jim, you're a man who grasps your emotions hard and tight.
I do.
Tight
I
and
put it
hard.
out on the table. And I say, you gotta love me or leave it. That's what I
Sure.
say. And I say, right, and then if they snub me, I wait till they are on a boat, and then they fall off looking for their wedding ring at night. And then I see them on the news, they've got amnesia, and I pretend that I'm their husband, right? And I take them home, and I rape them. That's what Kurt Russell did in that film. He raped Goldie Hawn. It's not
What?
funny. Overboard.
What movie?
The
Overboard? He
film
did that?
Overboard is a rape comedy.
What? Since I used to love that movie as a kid. It's rated PG.
I
It's just,
saw it.
family fun.
I saw it last night. It was on.
Okay.
I
Have you
don't
ever seen it before?
know. I don't know
Okay.
why I decided to watch it now. It was just I saw Goldie Hawn and I'm like, fuck, I haven't thought about Goldie Hawn in 20 years.
She's worth thinking about. She's great.
I'll watch this for a bit, and that film's a rape comedy. It's one big rape. I'm sorry, but when you take a woman, right, who's lost her memory and take advantage of that, you bring her into your home, make her look after your kids and cook your food, convince her that she's your wife, and then have sex with her, that is a rape.
They have sex in that movie?
Yeah.
Really?
I was hoping they wouldn't. And then on I guess they try and make it seem all right. Oh, well, he was gonna tell her, but then he told her it was her birthday instead and took her to a fun fair or whatever it is they did. I also watched Problem Child 2 yesterday, and I'd probably gotten mixed up. Kurt Russell's the little gingerbread kid that makes the teacups go really fast.
Kurt Russell is one of the few men who I really think is neat. Isn't he neat, Jim?
He's
How neat is he? Yeah, he's a neat guy. He's fun to watch do stuff. He's likable, despite being somewhat of an alpha male, which is hard to pull off for me. But anyway, like I was saying, you're a guy who grasps his feelings hard and tight and lets them out in his an expressive and well thought out, but still intense way. And maybe you'll say some things with passionate emotion at the time, and a month later the feelings have cooled. I bet Lee Alexander is like that. You'll say something, and she'll be like, "Oh, he's so effective. I'm feeling these feelings so hard right now."
She reads what I do, and she does go, "Ugh."
Yeah,
she
feels them.
So sexually attractive. Ugh. Ugh. She does,
and then she lets those feelings out in the moment, and then maybe a month later she forgot she ever got all ticked off at you, and it's like, oh yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably like that. That's my guess.
She doesn't want to do fucking Podtoid though, because she'll be pissed off at me every time.
I don't know. I don't know if she listens to it. I don't know if she knows what she's getting into. But without any solicitation from me, she said, "Oh, and Podtoid anytime you want."
Well, if she's listening now, Lee, we've got a section coming up in a minute called "Is it paedophilia or not?" So,
are we doing that again?
You probably don't want to be on it. Don't worry, the rest of you listeners. Don't worry. Is it paedophilia or not? Is in the bag. That's safe. We've got that along with our other new weekly feature, the Man Baby Thread of the Week. See, I've got this Man Baby Thread of the Week.
Is that a new? Oh, those guys! I forgot about
Guys,
those
I've
guys.
been
Yeah.
dropping in, see what they're up to. Going
And
through
we
their
should
classic
mention
thread section.
the classic threads.
Uh huh.
Is that like cool clothes from the '60s?
They pick their famous, like their most favorite comment threads and
Oh,
store them, and I go through and I look for them and talk about them on
so
the podcast.
they consider themselves classics
Yeah,
already. Wow, these guys are pretty amazing.
they're great. We should probably welcome to Podtoid, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sure, good idea.
We've
Yeah.
been going for about 20 minutes. I wanted to start with the introduction,
Very
so
excited.
people know who we are, because people
Hmm.
might not know.
No, they don't know. They
They
just
don't
turned
know.
it on. They just
Yeah,
plugged it in and pressed play, and now this is happening to them. Yeah.
I'm the reviews editor for Destructed.com,
You
Jim
are.
Sterling,
Mm.
and I host the Jimquisition at the EscapistMagazine.com, where every week I talk about a thing. And Jonathan Holmes over there is associate editor for Destructoid.com. He has hosted many videos, most recently talking to women about video games. Did an album, which is on Bandcamp, which you can look
Oh,
for and buy stuff from.
oh, yeah.
So we're pretty well-to-do gentlemen. And in case you didn't know, this is a video game podcast. So I think we should kick off, actually, with the biggest video game-related topic this week, which is,
What's that?
I'm sure you know already, Jonathan Holmes.
There's a lot of different opinions on that. I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear what you think it was, though, Jim. What is it?
So Paula Dean came out and said that she's got diabetes, which she's been hiding for 3 years. What do you think of that?
I know who she is only because Wolf Gore Show has a video where a white-haired woman comes out and goes, "I'm gonna eat a baby." And I'm like, that woman is great. And then I did a little research. I found out her name is Paula Dean.
Yeah,
That's all
I started seeing more of Paula Dean after Wolf Gore Show as well.
Yeah, that's
He's
all
a
I know.
great guy. He liked one of my drawings I did for the Jim
Oh,
Quiz.
yeah? Oh, I bet he did. He seems like he's got good taste.
It's a
He's
great-
made a lot of people very happy, that guy.
Very much. We actually bought a painting of his.
Oh, cool.
It's up in my living room, in my main room, of a bat. No, a bear with bat wings and a bunch of bat shapes in the moon. It's really good.
We should tell the listeners that Wolf Gore Show is probably most famous for slowing down Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's like Slumber Party Fiasco DVD. I can't remember what it's called. And when they rap,
I wish it was called Slumber Party Fiasco.
something like that. And they rap about pizza in slow motion, and it's really compelling, but also quite unsettling at the same time.
He does. He's got a lot of stuff like that. He does original videos himself with like live action stuff. Some of which is brilliant. So yeah, check him out. It's just Wolf Gore Show, all one word, on YouTube.
it's good.
Some of his other stuff, like they haven't had that many views, but it needs to. Like,
Yeah, I know, it's
probably,
weird, isn't it?
He's going to be one of those guys that's like just known as the PRCCA guy, but some of his other stuff is 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he phoned up, he's put up a few prank calls where he phoned up a random woman as a motorbike racing punk called Road Rash.
What?
Just phoning up women going, "This is Road Rash! You ridiculous cunt!" It's fucking brilliant.
I wonder, I should ask him if he wants to be on Sup Holmes. There's a thing I want to do on Sup Holmes where, and you're invited to do this too, Jim. It's going to ruin the joke for everyone. Oh, well, I'll just explain it. I think it's funny when people on the internet try to have a professional show when it's clear that they're just guys on the internet who happen to have a computer and an internet connection, and that's how they made their show and, capture equipment. So I kind of want that to be the bent for Sup Holmes. I want it to be a subtle self-mocking, which I like to do. So I want to take the show really, really seriously and try to be like a serious journalist who has a talk show, like a TV talk show, but then have people I know just call me in the middle of the interviews and talk about whatever they want. Because it's not a real talk show. It's just me chatting online with a webcam with people and recording it. So maybe Wolf Gore Show would want to call in sometime, just share his thoughts.
Do
and
it.
make conversation.
Wolf Gore Show, why don't you do that for a bit?
That's a great bit. You know him, I guess. You emailed him and got him to sell you a painting. Maybe
I've had a little chat now and then. It was mostly my wife who spoke to him.
Well, if either of you want to let him know that I'm okay and that I'll do stuff. Yeah, I'll do it.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's an exciting show you're working on.
It might be good. It might be good. I hope so. I've never done a show like it. I wanted to address real quickly, now that I think about it. I shouldn't use Podtoid as my personal sounding board. But anyway, whatever. I'm just going to be myself.
Fuck it, they're getting it for free.
That's true. That's true. And you talked about your iTunes for a good 15 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah.
So what's good for the
Because that's what people tune in for.
I guess so.
They want to know what I've bought off iTunes.
They probably do. They buy you gifts. You just make a list.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you about my gifts. It's getting ridiculous.
I bet it is. People are being nice and saying, why don't you make a list? They're requesting that I make a list.
Might as well. Matt did, and it worked. He got jealous and made his own list. He's not here, by the way, this week.
Yeah.
And he wanted us to tell lies about him, so he killed a boy.
Yeah, he ate and killed a boy.
He ate and killed a boy, yeah.
It's terrible. Terrible. Old boy, too. He was
he had an erection when he did it as well. Because he's a sex pervert.
Yeah, he also, he steals a lot of stuff from fast food restaurants.
He's a liar as well, actually. He tells lies instead of the truth.
Sweet little lies.
He's sweet little lies.
So I'm going to get back to my quick point. People keep saying, I'm getting some criticism, and it's both a compliment and a criticism. People are like, what? You're doing yet another show? Why don't you just keep doing the show that I liked that you did? Why do you keep starting a show and then stopping it? You can't finish anything that you start. And that's nice. That means that they want me to finish the other shows that I have done in the past, like the Destructoid show, Constructoid, talking to women about video games, Sundays with Sagat. It's not that simple, unfortunately. The guy who I was doing talking to women about video games with is just kind of doesn't call me back anymore for whatever reason. So I don't have anyone to shoot that. Constructoid takes about 3 weeks to do each episode, so that took forever. It just didn't seem like efficient use of time because I do have a 40 to 50 hour week day job. So, when I do something, when I grab that time and try to make a video with it, it really has to count. I can't screw around, unfortunately. Not that say that other people do screw around, but for me, it's even more of a time crunch. So those are all shows I want to try to bring back, but I still want to try to do other ideas when I have them too. So sometimes I have to choose between an old idea and starting a new one. I tend to try to start a new one. But Constructoid might come back. I found someone to help me animate it. And talking to women about video games might come back. I might just ask my older brother to film it, and we'll just talk to the same woman every week. So we're going to change the name to Talking to This One Lady About Video Games and do a few episodes, see how that goes. So yeah, they might all come back. Thank you for wanting them back. I appreciate it. But it's not as simple as that sometimes because I don't have a crew or a budget or anything.
I hear that. I hear that.
You're just a guy too, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I have ideas. I told you about one of them. The one I'm really proud of the idea, but I don't know how to do it. I don't have people. I moved away from people.
Yeah, you're in the South now.
I'm in buttfuck.
Yeah, it's hard to find people of like mind who want to put work into things and cooperate with you in a place where you couldn't be any more culturally inappropriate for your setting. Right.
Dude, I'm a fucking idiot.
It's just the worst.
Sat here in the middle of Mississippi downloading Eiffel fucking 65. God.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
I laughed like such a cunt then. I've never done that before. I laughed and then went, ooh.
No, you're crying, actually.
Sounding like fucking Lenny the Gremlin from the new batch.
I love the new batch. Man, that movie's so underrated. Let me ask your opinion real quick on Teenage Pokemon. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to do this new show. It's a cartoon show called Teenage Pokemon.
God, another one!
Yeah, I know. I've got about 4 shows I'm trying to do right now. Sup Holmes, Teenage Pokemon, talking to a lady about video games, and bringing...
Keep the title. Keep the title.
Talking to women about video games?
Yeah,
but just have it be the same woman every week?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it.
Best case scenario, it doesn't matter. Worst case scenario, it becomes a funny irony.
I like funny. I like irony.
Or the other way around could be best or worst. I don't know. Either way, you win. You literally cannot lose, sir.
This is the kind of feedback I need in my life, Jim. Thank you. Because there's no one like you. I'm kind of a stranger in a strange land out here. 40 to 50 hour a week day job with people who have never played a video game, and then I come home and basically do this stuff by myself. So thank you for the feedback. I need it. And here's another thing I need feedback on. So in Teenage Pokemon, it's going to start off with a professor. And I couldn't decide what his name is going to be. And I recorded it both ways. I can't decide which one is funnier. The first time he's like, "Hello, I'm Professor Bubblebutt." It's Bubblebutt. And the second time he's like, "Hello, I'm Professor Tree." Which is better? Are they both bad?
Yeah. See, I mean, the thing is, just so long as you're doing that voice, it doesn't matter.
It's good or bad with that
So
voice.
long as you do that voice, it just doesn't matter. Just keep doing the voice.
I do the voice.
Everything. All the time, yeah.
I do like the voice. It is fun for me to do. I don't know if it's fun to listen to, but it's fun to make that voice. So you have no preference over Bubblebutt or Tree?
I don't know. I think Tree might work just because it is... If you labour like the fact that it is a lame joke, yeah, you could do that. Or you could do Professor Coke and have him as doing drugs for a bit.
With that voice? Like, "Hello, I'm Professor Cocaine." starts to snort cocaine on camera.
Well, that made me laugh.
It did, but it was your idea, so obviously...
All my ideas make me laugh.
Yeah, they are funny ideas.
I'm the only one who laughs.
No, I laugh at your ideas all the time. So maybe Professor Cocaine is funnier.
Could be. I tell you what made me laugh the other day.
Yeah.
I imagined the Bee Gees, right? Regrouping. Because it's just, what's it? Paul and Barry now.
Two, yeah.
And what's it, the other one? Morris is dead.
Was he? Yeah, he's a real one. And then their little brother, Andy, I think, is dead too, right?
Fuck Andy.
Oh, okay.
But I just imagined a new album, the two live ones regrouping. Got Paul and Barry on either side, gravestone of Morris, like they're at his grave, and the album's just called The Bee Gees, Better Than We've Ever Been. And they don't know why that's wrong. They didn't even do it on purpose. And people like are saying, "Don't you think that's disrespectful?" And they're like, "What do you mean? We put him on the album cover because we love him." And they don't know the correlation between his death and their title, you see?
Yeah, better than he's ever been. It's
I might ask them about that. I might send them an email.
Oh, who, the Bee Gees?
The Bee Gees, yeah.
The two surviving Bee Gees. Do you have their email address?
No. I just figured if I just do thebeegees@thebeegees.com, it'll find its way there. Like, that's the center, isn't it?
Yeah, it tends to happen. Email is does cause people to be really accessible. Like Jim Sterling, you are accessible by Facebook, email, and Twitter, right?
I'll tell you what, right?
Let's remind people.
Extra accessible. I'll be extra accessible. Up my ass for you and your penis to do sex in it when we have sex.
Who, me? Or just all people?
No, just talking about you. I'm doing some more subtle innuendo for the show to keep it saucy.
Yeah, sex talk.
Keep it like...
It's good. People like that.
It's like that TV show that Bruce Willis used to be in, The Fifth Element. Will she, won't she? Are they going to do anal or not? That was the big question on everybody's lips back in the 80s.
Yeah, Moonlighting, Strangers. I really love that theme song a lot. I always want to sing it when you bring it up, but then I don't. I take too long. It's a little weird to just listen to your friend sing for a long time, isn't it? Yeah, I can usually get like 3 lines into singing to you before you just feel the need to start talking over me. I don't blame you. It's weird. You can't just sit there and sing to a friend. What are they supposed to do? Just look at you?
You don't know. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Just
you don't have any problem doing it,
that you saw over there.
And when we talk over you, you just continue.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you got a lot of moxie.
You got a lot of
moxie.
I've got things to say.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
That's the thing. I've got a lot to say. I don't have much time to say it, because let's face it, I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 40. So I've got to get it out there. I'm like Paula Dean. I've got to get it out there. I've got to eat as much butter as possible so I can sell you all type 2 diabetes medicine later. Let's get back
I'm
to that
now.
big video game topic of the day. Is Paula Dean
Yeah, what, Resident Evil? No, Paula Dean.
diabetes? Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Resident Evil because we're at odds by accident. I feel a little self-conscious because I never want to cross or disrespect or contradict you, Jim. But you did a post saying, oh, come on, don't be complaining about Resident Evil 6 already. And then I looked up and saw it after I had written about 15.
It wasn't so much that. It was, let's not do the same complaints.
Oh, not the same complaints.
It was like, already, well, we'll see. With movement control complaints, and one or two people, he's in China and the president is white. That is racist, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? And I'm like, dude, not again. Not so soon. Within 24 hours? Come on.
Why is being in China racist again? Just because China?
Because China. Why not?
I mean, it's like, how dare you think Chinese people have zombies too? Or what is it? No, there's got to be a reason in there.
I don't know.
Are they mean to Chinese people? Do they say, like, we got to corrupt these Chinese people and kill them before they take over?
I think a lot of people were being sarcastic, but just don't give the Huffington Post ideas again. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I bet some of them caught other people being sarcastic and then thought, I'll get on that bandwagon. It's fun to be mad. Yeah, China, how dare you?
And a lot of people were like, oh my god, the president is white in it, but we have Obama now, which means all presidents are black.
Yeah, that doesn't add up. I think that part is all a flashback to... This is me being a Resident Evil nerd. The rumor has it that stuff takes place in between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 to kind of show you how Leon ended up becoming a top government agent for Resident Evil 4. That, who knows if that's true though. But so it's a flashback back to when presidents were white. It's fine. It's a period piece. It's a 1990s period piece. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Yeah. Anyway, I wrote a 15-paragraph long feature about how I'm worried that Resident Evil 6 will conform to the standards that Capcom thinks will make a game successful, and in doing so, not only miss the opportunity to evolve the unique gameplay design traits of Resident Evil to a farther extent, but in fact reject the things that make the series what it is. That's what I'm worried they're going to do, is sell out Resident Evil, like when Kiss went disco. You remember that?
Oh, who could forget?
I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. Remember?
No. Fucking brilliant days. Brilliant days.
People freaked out when Kiss did that. They burned their Kiss records in the middle of football fields. They said they were going to kill Paul Stanley and Peter Criss for going disco. They thought it was a real sellout. They freaked out.
Yeah. Didn't they do the same once when Bob Dylan played on an electric keyboard for a minute?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People don't like stuff changing.
And that's the thing. I don't mind Resident Evil changing when it comes to games like Operation Raccoon City, which is, if you want move and shoot and if you want co-op, there you go, right there. That's what the game is made for. So if you want the Resident Evil scenario or the Resident Evil world or setting with the kind of gameplay that meets your standards for a third-person shooter, you've got it. Why does the main series, which has always been about making the player feel somewhat powerless, having to make hard decisions all the time, should I run or should I stop and shoot? Why should they take all those unique decisions that made the series special in the first place away just to make it more like other games? And that, to me, would be like Jennifer Grey getting a nose job, which she did, and that was depressing. Do you remember that, when Jennifer Grey got a nose job?
Who the fuck is Jennifer Grey?
Jennifer Grey is the red-hot, big-nosed actress from the 80s. She starred in Dirty Dancing. She was Ferris Bueller's sister. She has a big nose, but it makes her beautiful. It gives her character. It makes her stand out. And then in the late 90s, she got a nose job. Now she just looks like, Jennifer Aniston.
Just any,
woman.
That's a shame.
Sucks. People
Yeah,
should not get
ladies
nose
with
jobs. Yeah.
like significant noses can look rather. It can look attractive on a face. I don't see why.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And likewise, a video game with controls that are not up to the standard that you have, the standard of beauty for controls, that offer something unique and interesting, like a big nose, can be worth your time. That's what I think. What do you think, Jim?
it's all about how you do it. I mean, I've said before that survival horror kind of evolved itself out of existence. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because Resident Evil 4 changed the game completely, and Resident Evil 4 kind of sent the message that survival horror as it had existed up to that point was no longer acceptable. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying whether that's true or false, I'm just saying that's the message it sent, and it's a message that stuck, because we really
Mm-hmm.
didn't see much beyond that. We've had Amnesia
Now,
that came out. That was a first person, not a shooter, but a first person game, and
sure.
it didn't so much. I mean, it kept, it had more elegant controls, but it limited what you could do, and stuck to sort of stealthy, non-combative gameplay. And obviously, that was a big success. There's definitely a market still for horror games. As far as third person goes, I mean, it's difficult because we are used to games being built around the player's comfort and convenience. So a game that takes us out of
But
that,
that's not gonna, yeah, that's not gonna make you feel scared though. If you feel
well, this is the
comfortable
problem.
and convenienced, yeah.
I mean, there's
Do you
got
think
to
the
be a
problem is
middle
people
ground.
don't want?
There's
Okay,
got to be a
middle
middle
ground,
ground. There's got to be a way to make a game not feel like it's wasting or disrespecting your time, but is still limiting you and scaring you in some way. And I felt that Resident Evil 4 and 5 had kind of reached that compromise because they gave you the, a really good, fantastic, I thought, shooting mechanic. The controls were fluid and elegant, but there were these little things, like it was a little awkward to turn when you're running, and you obviously couldn't move and shoot. Just these limiting things that were still quite believable because, I mean, I couldn't shoot a fucking elephant while stood still, let alone running, you know? Um,
Sure. Yeah.
so it was believable
Yeah,
and it made sense.
to me, Resident Evil 4 is, in terms of its design, perfect for survival horror, just completely perfect. I wish they could evolve it even further, but I'm not sure if they can because I don't have the imagination to even begin to see how they could maximize farther because to me it is perfection. It's so I'm getting all excited thinking about it. The way that you are empowered by the ability to aim exactly where you want to, but disempowered by the fact that it's not easy to do. It takes physical skill, and you have to stop to do it, which makes you vulnerable to all the enemies that are
Yeah.
potentially surrounding you at all times, and the camera's behind your back, which makes it so anyone could be behind you at all times. So you never feel completely safe due to the camera placement. But at the same token, the camera placement is perfect for being able to aim at stuff in front of you and have it be really your success or failure if you hit the enemy. Like the Resident Evil games before that had auto aim, so it was just kind of a non-point, and if anything, it was too empowering at that point. So in some ways, Resident Evil 4 disempowered you further, and in some ways, it empowered you in just the right ways to give you like a glimmer of strength, and then dash it away, just pull it right out from under you. Oh, and shooting a guy in the face, and then having to run towards him right before he stops being stunned in order to kick him right in the balls. It's awesome because it's so scary. You don't know if you're going to get there in time, and you don't know if you're going to get mugged on the way over to kicking him in the balls.
Plus,
That's such good stuff.
they were really great about giving you just enough tools to do the job,
Right.
but not so many tools that you could not give a shit about what you were doing. It's like rare was the time when you'd like completely run out of bullets, but you'd also not feel like you could waste any of them.
Right. Yeah,
And it was
the
just this,
fine tuning to it.
I mean, it was just so well designed in that it made you feel useless without making you feel uncomfortable. Because there's nothing worse than a game that feels mentally and physically uncomfortable to play. And this was my big problem with Amy, which we've talked about on the past few episodes. Because in some ways I felt so happy when I heard about it, and when I saw it for the first time, I was like, man, I miss this feeling. Like, even with Resident Evil 4 and 5 out there, I miss this feeling, this Silent Hill 2 feeling, this Resident Evil 2 feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I do think there's a market for it, but I think it needs to be fine-tuned, and Amy certainly wasn't the way to do it. They took the piss. They went utterly mental with it. But I think there is a way to do it. I absolutely feel in my heart, but I'm not a game designer, so I wouldn't know exactly
so it's hard
how.
for us to know. Yeah.
But there's got to be a way to just, fix the movement, make the characters easier to move about and control. Because even though I get that, like, the Resident Evil style forklift truck movement from the old PS1 era, does make it scarier, but that feels very artificial because real people just don't move like that. They don't move like that. So
is that what people mean by artificial? It's like you are doing something that real people wouldn't do in order to make the game harder, and that takes people out of the game when they sense that it's, like, unrealistic or something?
Yeah, I mean, when I say artificial, I mean, like, limiting a player in a way that makes no logical sense.
Okay.
Limiting a player to have them stand still to shoot, that makes logical sense to me. Because, I think the only other way to do it would be to allow you to run and shoot, but have your bullets miss 90% of the time, which they would. Right. But at least it makes logical sense that a trained professional would stop and fucking shoot. It doesn't make so much sense that when you turn a corner, you, like, clear 6 meters of space because you steer like a dodgem. That felt artificial to me, or having you, like, when you want to turn round, you stand on the spot and then clomp with your feet up and down while slowly rotating. That's not, that was another improvement they brought in Resi 4 when you could be on, like, whip round really quick.
I think they did that in 3, actually, but I know what you mean. For some reason, that stuff never bothers me, but I 100% hear what you're saying. I'm all excited about talking about this. Yeah, I'm so happy. Did you play the Resident Evil Revelations demo yet, Jim?
I did.
What do you think? Is that fine-tuning it? Is that moving things forward, staying in the same place, doing nothing, is it worse? What's your stance on that?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. I'm
really
not sure.
A lot of people are sold on it. A lot of people I know are, like, not, because you only get 30 tries on it. They are keeping their 3DS on that demo because that only counts as one try as long as you don't shut the application off and then turn it back on, because they just don't want to stop playing it.
Who plays the demo 30 times?
These people, they're speed running it. They're speed running the hell mode that you unlock after you play through it the first time. They're doing knife only runs. They're, like, in love with this demo.
I don't want to know those people. I'm not even being funny. I'm not even joking. I don't want to know those people.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because they sound like scum.
They don't. They just love a video game a lot. They love they're the same as people who get high scores in Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. They just love the game design and the dynamic and seeing how far they can push it.
No,
or they are scum. I don't know.
I'm trying to decide whether I'm just having. I need to, because I only played it once so far.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I need to get used to it being on a handheld, because something about it just felt awkward in that, thing that made old survival horror not so much fun way.
Huh. So how would you say it compared to Resident Evil 4 for you in terms of controls and just general feel?
Didn't feel as good.
Really?
I think it was partially not helped by the fact that you only really see enemies, like, in clumps of 1 or 2, but to try and make them scarier, they just take, like, billion bullets.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's how, I don't know if you remember how many hits the zombies took in Resident Evil 1, but I think it was like 10 bullets per zombie.
Oh, no, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So but the trouble is in those games, in the old Resident Evil games, like, you could avoid the confrontation. Whereas here, it's almost being set up like, I mean, there's a tight corridor and they're slowly walking towards you, and it's like, well, you're going to have to take this guy out. And it starts to feel like a bit of a stop and shoot shooting gallery type thing.
Right.
Rather than something like Resident Evil 4, where it's like you're surrounded on all sides and it's really hectic, and you're trying to, you're popping bullets off and then running to another location and stopping to this constant cat and mouse game. There's not so much of that in this. It's like stop and keep shooting and just hope you drop the guy before he gets too near and gets in a shot.
Yeah.
And like I say, this is only based on one play. I really want to like it. I want to like it because, well, I like Resident Evil.
Sure.
And I was, I liked Resident Evil 5 well enough, but it certainly wasn't a high point for me, so I really want another one that I really love.
Sure.
So, I'm going to give it another go. I charged the 3DS again today, so I'm going to give it another go tonight. I hope I like it the second time around. I hope, now that I know what to expect, that I get with it.
Yeah.
I will say it's the only game that, even though the demo's like 5 minutes long, if that, it is the only 3DS game so far that I've turned the 3D right off.
Oh, really?
I found it horrible. I did not like it.
Well, that doesn't help, certainly. Yeah, that's weird. I actually did the opposite. If you go to the options mode, you can turn the 3D up even higher than the physical slider, the 3D slider on the console lets you go. So you can just max out the 3D so hard. And I was playing it last night like that, and I thought it was great. So yeah, that 3D thing, it's really a matter of taste and a matter of game by game basis for people, I think.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, I'll give it another go. I want to give it more than one chance.
I think you should just play the full game, because from what I know of the full game, there's a lot more that, like the ship chapters, which are about, I think, half the game as Jill. You're in those tight corridors, and it's very much like Resident Evil 1. An enemy is coming from maybe the front, and then one's coming from the left, and you have to choose which one you're going to shoot first. But other than that, it doesn't get too much more complex than that on the ship. But then there's the other half of the game takes place in much bigger areas, like office building that's about to be torn down, and the beach and the Arctic, where it's a big space. And that's where the hunters come in, and the zombie wolves, and these giant like cleft-lipped blobs. Did you see those guys?
No.
Cleft-lip blobs? You're
I've
hanging out on the
really
beach? Yeah?
recently started paying like major attention to it now that we're closer to it.
There's some blobs. They're huge, disgusting, slimy blobs that have giant, like, flat tooth.
All right, steady on. They're not here to defend themselves. I've got to look out for my own.
And they'll eat you. They'll surround you and eat you at the beach. So maybe you'll like that part. What did I say? Oh, wait. You said I was making fun of them because they were blobs, or because they had...
I was making a funny self-deprecating joke.
Yeah, I don't... Are you technically overweight? Are you sure?
Morbidly fucking obese, mate.
I always forget that about you. Is that weird? Am I being, like, dumb or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you're just being too nice.
Maybe. That's something I've been accused of in the past. So, Resident Evil Revelations, you are saying you're not sure yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Too soon to say. Okay.
I want to be... I mean, it's at the beginning of the game. It seems a bit, like, in your face for the very beginning.
I'm not sure if it's the very beginning, but I'm pretty sure it's close to the very beginning.
Right.
I've heard something. I'm not sure if it's true though. It's just people talking to each other on Twitter. But that starts off. You don't think there's any problems in the ship, and then something happens. You're knocked out. You get knocked out. You get knocked out, and you wake up on the bed, and then it starts. So it's close to the beginning. Right.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. And the other big news was then Sopa died since last time we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All thanks to me.
I was gonna say.
I didn't do nothing.
You did a whole lot. We were in that newspaper article in like Sweden or something.
Well, Destructoid was.
Yeah, but you spearheaded, from what I know anyway, the anti-SOPA noise-making and general tenor of Destructoid during the whole SOPA hearing thing.
I mean, I do think I was one of the earliest guys in the game industry to do it. I think before then, Game Politics were the only guys really stepping it up, and I did the video I did an early video on Soper months ahead before everyone else sort of really kicked in, and then everyone started joining in, and it became this movement. And obviously, Wikipedia really fucking made some noise and got mainstream attention. And the blackout that we had on the 18th was tremendous. Mostly, thanks to Wikipedia, and Google, of course, stepped in and made some concessions toward it. Those blogs that didn't black out, at least in the gaming sphere, they generated buzz about it. They were doing stories on it and stuff. So, yeah, it went really well. And there were some people like, oh, the blackout ain't going to do nothing. But on that day, Pippa, which is the sister act to Back in the Habit to Soper, it gained 18 new opposing senators over that 24-hour period. And then the next day, Pippa was shelved. A few hours later, Soper was shelved. And then the ESA bravely came out to say, you know what, we don't support that bill that doesn't exist for the moment. We are really good, so can you like us again, please? Look at we've got the Video Game Voters Network fighting for your rights that we tried to take away. Fucking ESA. Fucking den of vipers.
I wonder what their agenda is. It might be some sort of profit deal.
It's the same as the MPAA and the RAAA. They claim to represent talent, but they represent the corporations that bought the art created by the talent. I did my last Jimquisition this week on escapistmagazine.com was about this situation, about what copyright infringement means, and what copyright has meant for a long time and is only now sort of disintegrating as the internet takes hold. Because if you listen to just the way the MPAA or the RAAA or the ESA talk, they will make it sound like they're protecting their artists. They will say, we've got them, jobs are on the line, we've got to look after the content created by hardworking people. But then you look at what they represent, and the MPAA doesn't represent artists. They represent the movie studios. The RAAA represents record labels. And it's my theory that copyright is, they don't want to so much protect it for the sake of the artists, but the sake of people like Rupert Murdoch or Universal Media Group, who bought those copyright, bought the copyright for themselves, and they don't exist to create, they just exist to buy and make more money for themselves. But the internet has been allowing artists to cut out the middleman. Trent Reznor has been amazing doing this. He released the slip on the internet himself for free, I believe. Yeah. I think Amanda Palmer's doing a lot of that. There are a lot of artists that are using the internet now to get their content directly in the hands of their consumers and their fans. And if I were the MPAA or the RAAA, I'd be terrified of that. And that's why I think Soper and Pippa were never so much about protecting copyright and protecting their artists' ability to create art. It was demeaning and demolishing the ability for those artists to get their art directly in the face of consumers. Because when you can just go on the internet and upload your album and give it out, and get donations from fans and get money that way, and you don't need a record label looking after you, the record label's function disappears completely and it becomes redundant. And they don't like changing their business models. So, hell yeah, they're going to try and regulate the internet. They're going to try and demolish places like Reddit, like YouTube, like Mega Upload, which we saw get taken down. That shit terrifies them. And I don't think it's because of piracy. I think it's because it's a competing business model.
That was really weird with Mega Upload, which, as far as I know, the owner of Mega Upload never personally uploaded any pirated material.
No, they do say he downloaded it, though. But it doesn't make him a bad person. I don't give a fuck anymore. Who did he hurt? Like, what? Fucking Universal? Ooh,
isn't that like... Stricken. I don't know. I see that as like taking down the U.S. mail system because someone mailed a bomb or something. Like, it's the person who mailed the bomb is the person that uploaded the material.
That's what Soper and Pippa did, if you believe that they were concerned about piracy, which I don't believe for a second anymore. That's exactly what it was. They were destroying the freedom of the internet because it can be used for bad things, and that was used actually by some of the opposing senators to argue against it. It was like, we don't ban knives because someone can be stabbed. We don't ban cars because someone could be run over. But that's not what this is about, because if it was, as John Walker at Rock Paper Shotgun pointed out, if it was all about piracy, we wouldn't have DRM in PC games.
Sure.
They only do that because they like the control. They like to control their existing customers, because DRM means nothing to a pirate. They'll crack that shit and they'll play the game without DRM at all. DRM only exists to keep online tabs on those who actually bought the fucking thing. And that's what they're concerned about. It's not about piracy or the jobs that are apparently being cost, which I don't believe for a second. It's about fucking control and possessiveness. These guys are like jealous husbands.
Why did they? Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. The video game industry in general, I find, when it comes to when you're talking to anyone who actually has any money, like a publisher or something, the amount of like fear and need to control the consumer and also the world of video game journalism is like so intense.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this many times, but it's really. I'm never going to lose amount of emotion to express with my befuddled puzzlement over why do they care about whether we do or don't do certain things.
Yeah, the trouble is, the thing they're scared of is competition. They're scared that better things have come along that they can't control, they don't own, and it's going to take all their business away. That's what they're scared of. The jobs that they say piracy cost, those jobs could easily have been cost simply by the fact that new technologies come up that's rendered those jobs redundant. Because that's what happens. We don't need so many movie studios because people can put films fucking online now. We don't need record labels so much because you can just put your shit on iTunes. And
we don't need game developers necessarily with...
publishers.
Publishers, I mean, yeah. We don't need someone whose only job is to take a developer's product and put it in the hands of the consumer with the, what do you call it, internet.
Well, look how well, indie games do on Steam. If there's a good indie game and it generates word of mouth, those guys make money.
Yeah, they do.
And they don't need the control or the quote-unquote guidance of a publisher who's just going to take a ludicrous cut for themselves and buy the intellectual property of the people that made the game, so they can't do anything with it later. People need to remember that when you sign up a publishing deal with a record label, a game publisher, or whatever, they don't guarantee you success. What it does guarantee is that if you don't succeed, they own your shit and you can't be successful with it anymore. And I'm being completely serious here.
Yeah, I know.
Back in the 90s, when record labels had complete control over everything in the music industry, they could buy the rights to your band's name, they could buy your albums, your songs, and once they owned it, they didn't have to promote it, as to the extent they promote something already successful. And if you didn't succeed, they wouldn't want your second album, but they already owned your songs, so you couldn't take them elsewhere. And this is how a lot of these guys got trapped. And it still happens today just because the companies are so big and successful, and they've convinced so many people they're the only guys who can get you famous. Again, they don't guarantee it, but they tell you, if you want to get famous, we're the guys to come to. And they con people. And yes, you could argue that, well, the artist should read the contracts, but most of them don't, and
well, a lot of them are 16 or 18 or something.
And the thing is, it's like, if a confidence trickster cons you into like giving you their credit card details, you're a bit silly for giving them your credit card details, but that guy's still a criminal, and the law would still prosecute him for theft. But apparently when a major record label or a movie studio does the same thing and gets you to sign a contract that gives you everything you own and have created, they're not liable to the same legal punishment or even criticism from a lot of people, because then it's like, well, they should have read the contract. Apparently even like Penny Arcade have been caught like this before, when they've signed the wrong contract and got fucked. And I mean, I don't know all the details because I can't really remember it, but I believe they've been fucked like twice in the past. And it's like, Okay, yeah, they could have been more careful, but that doesn't make what the guys are doing okay. And this is why I can't shed a tear over Ubisoft complaining that they didn't make an extra $1 million on top of their several $1 million making game, you know?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's not your content. It's not your content, and I believe that copyright law especially needs to change, because copyright law, as was pointed out to me earlier this week, first existed to protect artists from publishers.
Oh.
And publishers thought, well, we don't like that, we're going to buy the copyright now. And that's what happens. You come up with a new system, noble in intent, to protect an artist from a company. Then the company just buys that system, owns it like it does everything else. I mean, that's why people, at least before the internet, these guys didn't have much of a choice. Because if you want to be successful in the music industry, you've got to go to a record label because they own everything. They stack the deck in their favour. They own the deck. They own the table the card game's being played on. And they then get to own whoever touches the deck of cards, you know? They own everything. And that's the trouble we're getting into in the modern age, and it's something the tide is kind of turning now as artists do realise how powerful the internet is. But you damn better believe that the record labels, the movie studios, the game publishers don't like it, and they're going to fight tooth and nail, and they're going to kick and scream. They'll do anything rather than evolve. They will do anything other than evolve. And that's what they need to do, because that's how you fight piracy, ladies and gentlemen. Look at Steam. Look at iTunes. In fact, piracy in the UK went down in the music industry as iTunes became more popular, because the way you beat piracy is to be better than piracy. People will pay. People will pay. They will pay for a better service. I do. I pay for better service because I would rather just click a button and spend, 99 cents to get a hot song that the kids enjoy, like Eiffel 65's Blue, Dabba Dee, Dabba Doo, or Alien Ant Farm, Ace of Base, all the classic hit songs. If I can just click a button and get them, I'm going to do it rather than, go on LimeWire or whatever and search for it and go through all the ones that have been listed wrong. Like, oh my god, that's a fucking Phil Collins song, not a Genesis song. Stop saying it is. I don't want to put up with that bullshit anymore. iTunes has got it all sorted, and they provide a better service than a lot of piracy does. And that's why it has succeeded, and that's why Steam succeeds. You've got it all in one place. You've got the Steam achievements, locking it all together, giving it something cohesive. You've got, friends that can see you playing the games and can join your game and drop in and drop out, All this stuff that piracy locks you out of, and piracy makes it harder to do than it can be done, that can be done on Steam. And I guess, Good Old Games especially has been fucking-tastic for that. I'll buy stuff from Good Old Games for some DRM-free, easily runnable games that just play on any operating system almost, because it's better. It's better than me searching for an old fucking, ISO file for a copy of Syndicate or whatever. It's on there now. It went up this week. Get Syndicate. It's...
Wow, that was awesome. You did it, man.
Be better than pirates, and the pirates can't beat you.
Yeah, it's simple. From what I can tell, a publisher's job is to make the consumer's experience in getting the developer's product more pleasurable. They're like a nice waiter, right?
Yeah.
And you've got these great waiters that are the pirates. The food may be free, but the service is terrible. They're just dickheads.
Well, at the moment, at least as far as games go, at the moment the service is still better. It's not top of the range, but it's. You mean
with the pirates or the
game pirates? It's free and it's better than what Ubisoft and EA are doing.
Right,
this is the big thing.
So if their only job is to deliver the product in the most pleasurable and convenient and kind of all-encompassingly worthwhile way, you'd think they would just do that instead of let people who are doing it for free show them up.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah?
Here's the thing. Let's say we've got one restaurant on one side of the road. We got one restaurant on the other side of the road. Okay?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's metaphor this. It's going to be good.
I'm going to call one restaurant El Pirate, just to make it easy. I'm going to call the other one El Ubisoft. I don't know what El means.
Stop.
Right?
Oh, it's Spanish, yeah.
For a long time, there was no El Pirate. There was just El Ubisoft. Okay? You'd go in, you'd eat your food. It would be, expensive meal. $60 for a dinner, right? And you'd eat it all up. And you didn't know any better. The food was good. It was good food. Then El Pirate opened up, right? They were giving the food away for nothing. And all you had to do was find it on a very big menu. Right? It was a very big menu. It was hard to find stuff, but it was there, and you could get it with a little bit of searching for nothing. Same food. Delicious. Right?
Yeah.
The way El Ubisoft thought, I know how to do better than this, was to say, if you come in here, you have to spend $10 to get your dessert, and we're going to chain you to the fucking table with a handcuff in order for you to eat your fucking dinner. And you can only eat your dinner 3 times. that bit that's where the metaphor falls apart.
No, it's still pretty good.
But the point is that music is doing better because... I'm hitting my microphone, I always do that. Music is doing better because iTunes made music a click away. You paid a little bit, but it was there, click away.
Right.
Movies are starting to get that way with Netflix and things like Netflix. I think Netflix is just in at the moment.
Hulu? People like that, Hulu.
Yeah. Not
They
quite
like
as successful yet as iTunes because it's not as universal. Like, you can't really watch it anywhere. You've got to have a game console and stuff. And ISPs are fucking throttling connections up and down the country, so it's harder to take hold. But there's a better service there that will explode if it can be improved and you can get better connections and a wider range of devices. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The game industry decided to fight piracy by installing DRM that gets in your way, can make games run slow, often acts as spyware, by putting in online passes that make you input a 25-digit code on a fucking 360 controller before it lets you play half the game. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't follow the logic.
I have a metaphor for you. Oh, maybe this will be good. Maybe it's not, now that I'm thinking about it. Is it kind of like when you have a friend? You've got some friends, right, Jim?
Yeah, I got 10 dozen.
I have a friend actually recently who has kind of blown me off. I haven't heard from them for a while. We had plans for
I'll blow you.
We had plans for last week, and they've never gotten back to me, and I don't know why. It's been almost a week it's been almost 2 weeks since I've heard from them. Anyway, and this is the same thing game publishers go through when the consumers abandon them. It's like your friend blowing you off. You either say, oh, wow, what did I do that caused you to want to blow me off? Did I screw up? Maybe I should do things differently. Or you're like, you dick. All right, next time we hang out, I'm locking the doors. You're going to be in there with me, whether you like it or not, for as long as I want. No, that's not going to get your friends to want to hang out with you more. That's going to get them to call the police on you, or at the very least, never call you back again. If they want to charm the consumer back into their lives, they don't want to make their product even more repulsive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Metaphor? All right?
That works, and it's like, that was very good. It was better than mine, because mine fell apart.
Well, I like yours too.
Here's the thing, it's like, if it's about piracy, you'd be doing what other mediums are doing. You wouldn't be going backwards. Like, entertainment now is about streaming movies, clickable music. Like, I want my entertainment, I want it now. I want to click a button and have Jason Donovan in my ears. And I want to be able to watch Troll 2 and Street Sharks whenever I want, now. I've woken up and I want to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit now. I'm going to watch it. And then you can do it straight away. With a game, you fucking go out to a shop, spend $60, bring it home, put the disc in, wait 40 minutes while Resistance 3 downloads a day one fucking update. That's after you've downloaded firmware from the PlayStation Network for another fucking 40 minutes.
Right. Then you got a manual download.
Then you've got to install it. Fucking hell. then you're like, oh, I've just beaten the campaign, thanks. I would like to play it online. You play it online, but Resistance 3 doesn't have an option to redeem codes in the game itself, so in order to play online straight after you've done the campaign, exit out of the game, go back to the XMB, click on the PlayStation Store, open up the redeem code box, input using your controller like a cunt, a fucking, I don't know how much they do, 20-digit code, restart the game, that's if a patch hasn't fucking popped up in the interim, and fucking play online.
Right, after
Compared
all
to
that.
that, I want to watch Street Sharks or Skeleton... I don't know if they've got Skeleton Warriors on. Sort it out if
They
you
probably
haven't.
do. I think they do.
If I
Yeah,
want to
that's
watch
good.
Skeleton Warriors, right, on Netflix, I could do that like that. I could just fucking watch it. If I want fucking... I don't know... Cage the Elephant, I could just click on it and get it. Or... the Safety
Gary Lewis and the
Task.
Playboys? Oh,
Gary
see,
Lewis and the Playboys.
yeah, you know them. That's Jerry Lewis's son.
Rat, if I want some Rat, or Twisted Sister. I could just click on it. If I wanted Rock Lobster by the B-52s. I'm just saying songs now. This is pointless. But
I enjoyed it.
Is,
Yes.
you know, entertainment's moved forward to a faster, more convenient age. Meanwhile, the games industry is slowly heading back to the Commodore 64 cassettes. It doesn't make sense. The game industry was once at the technological forefront, in at least in terms of hardware. It still is. It's supposed to be a dynamic, energetic, driving forward industry, but It is chained to some of the oldest and most inconvenient and consumer-hating business models I've ever seen. I have ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the people in charge now, as opposed to the way the game industry was back when Jobs and Wozniak and the guys at Atari and the guys at Commodore 64, who really were passionate about technology. There wasn't a precedent back then for making you rich and famous. They did it because they loved it and because they loved their consumers. They understood their audience because they were their audience. And these days... I'm pretty sure the guys in charge of Ubisoft and EA and Activision are not the audience for video games. They see, I don't think they have a lot of respect for their own product. I don't think they have a lot of respect for their consumer. And I don't think that they understand the consumer or the product a lot of the time either. They're just salesmen that make me sad. Sad face salesmen that, oh, well, come, why don't you do something you love with your life? You know, can you picture just making tons of money? But
I said this the other day. It's
why do they even get in the industry if they don't love it? It's sad.
I mean, when you see some of these CEOs that they make more money than I could imagine, and they just want more, and their life revolves around it.
Right.
I cannot think of a more vapid and worthless existence than than an already rich man who lives solely to get richer and not enjoy his money.
Right. You know? One of the reasons I haven't done one of those wish lists we talk about recently is because I actually have a pretty good amount of money. I'm not rich by any means, but because I do that 40 to 50 hour a week day job, I'm fairly well paid. I have all the actual stuff I want. All that I want to do now is not to collect stuff, but to team up with people I like and make things and do things.
Okay. Well, I'm going to defend my wish list.
I might be richer than you, Jim.
Right.
We've never compared pay stubs. I may very well be.
I mean, the thing is I have a, wife and a child and a house and all
I
this
don't have a
stuff.
child. Our house, yeah.
Yeah, fucking children. I joke. So obviously there are expenses and stuff, and my wife is my accountant, and she tells me that I can't spend all the money on aliens, so I set up a thing that was like, just if you want to get me some aliens, because I'm not allowed to spend all my money, because I've got to save it and keep a child alive. But I did want to talk about that because people, I set it up over a year ago, well, for my last birthday, because I don't really do much of a birthday these days, because, my family's very far away and they can't really send stuff out, so we just call it off, so I don't really get anything. My wife will get me something nice, And that's about it. And I thought, well, it'd be nice to get some bits, just some shit and tag. I like getting things in the mail. I love packages, especially yours, Jonathan.
Oh, what? I haven't
Uh,
sent you any nice packages.
oh, you will do. Don't you worry about it. That is what I was talking about. Your big meaty cock. Your giant meaty sausagey cock.
Wow. Yeah, you really. Sometimes I think you just need a little time to simmer it. You'll have an idea, and you'll be like, "Where am I going to take this?" And then just a few extra seconds, just blow it out of the water. That was great. You still there? Did I lose you? Oh God.
You know what, Jonathan?
Thought you were gone. Yeah.
I am going to empty myself in your chocolate bucket.
What's my chocolate bucket? My rear end?
Your ring piece!
My ring piece?
Your squirty, spicy ring piece.
Is that squirt? Is that a bum? Is that a bum you're talking? Oh, yeah.
Yawning, gasping, anal.
Wow.
Portal.
Gasping.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like a drowning child. It's gross.
Your stench-ridden, grotty warp pipe.
Was that a video game reference?
Yes, it was. I'll be doing them all the time as well. I'll be like, oh, I'm sexing you like a Sega Genesis.
That is highly erotic. That's it's weird.
It's the height of eroticism.
There is as we've talked about, I think before, a lot of people who, if a woman, you've seen those "Talk Nerdy to Me" T-shirts. Those are legitimately arousing to men. They want to have sex with a woman.
Oh, they want to have sex with a gamer chick.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. That's weird.
I can't find anything more insipid. It's like, it's like, I would, it's great to have another half who is into some of the stuff you like. Like, sure. I like talking to Alex about video games. Like, she plays Skyrim, Dragon Age. I don't like talking to her about Dragon Age. Fuck Dragon Age. But, Fallout, Left 4 Dead. Alex likes that kind of stuff, and I like to talk to her about it. But I don't see her playing Skyrim and think, oh my fucking god! Can't wait to fuck you! I'm gonna play the Skyrim! Oh my fucking god!
It is a massive turn on.
I'm gonna take that disc out of the box, and I'm gonna stick it on my fucking ass, and I'm gonna shit out of it, and the shit's gonna come out of the little hole in the disc, and it's gonna coil out like a Play-Doh machine. Oh yeah! I don't say that.
I'm picturing Randy Macho Man Savage doing that, because that's why you did that, to make me think of that, and that made me feel great. I really wish he would have like a scat Skyrim fetish with whoever he has sex with. Some people think he was a gay man, Macho Man Savage.
I have many erotic dreams
about Randy Macho Man Savage.
Randy Savage pooping on Skyrim.
Are those? I find a lot of erotic dreams are like half dream, half nightmare. Like I used to have weird Whoopi Goldberg dream nightmares of her like getting fondly in the. Do you remember that movie she was in with a anthropomorphic dinosaur? Generation Rex or something.
The only Whoopi Goldberg film I remember is Jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah, she's not as physically repulsive in that movie. Yeah, she's not the best looking one. What is that movie? She's in a movie where she and a talking dinosaur man are buddies, and Theodore Rex, maybe?
Are you sure it was a talking dinosaur? It wasn't just Jeff Goldblum.
It's Theodore Rex, it's called. I looked it up while we were talking.
All right.
You guys should look it up. She is in a skin-tight, like Jill Valentine-style leather jumpsuit with a radical teenage dinosaur wearing high-top sneakers and a red hooded sweatshirt. And my God, it's a nightmare. Picturing her trying to make love to you in that outfit is pure hell and heaven at the same time. Weird combo.
Randy Savage is pooping on Skyrim. Oh yeah!
That was have the sound effect.
I'm gonna serve it up to you. Steamy Skyrim poop dinner with Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
Can you believe how many years he did that? Doesn't that hurt when you do that? You hurt yourself a little bit just there, didn't you?
He hurts. I was coughing all the way through your story.
Yeah, it's nightmarishly difficult. Yeah, he's a pretty hard-working guy, that Randy Savage.
I do want to talk about the stuff.
What stuff?
Max Scoville,
the movie, the stuff?
Max Scoville set up a wish list.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get him anything. He doesn't deserve it. Actually, he's got amazing stuff on there, like helmets and nunchucks and swords and shit.
Yeah,
bouncing balls and I think like anal beads or whatever. But yeah, people got me stuff. I don't deserve it. I do.
They decided you do. You didn't say, I deserve this, send this to me. You said, you asked me what I like. Here it is. And in a way that is convenient. I'm going to be a good publisher. I'm going to make the service for you very convenient. You can just click and buy it for me.
Hey, I do my best. I look after my fans.
And if you'd been like, look this up for me and try to buy it, then you would have been inconsiderate. But you were very, you treated them like a champ, yeah.
And I do love that people like my stuff enough to think I want to give him something. I don't say that to people. I don't say, oh, if you like my stuff because it's for free, you should get me this. I don't care whether you get me anything or not as in exchange for this content, which I do very happily for free. I mean, we don't even get money for doing Podtoid. I do it because it gives me legitimate joy to give this stuff to people.
Yeah, me too.
In the same way it gives someone legitimate joy to phone up their attractive single female neighbour and breathe heavily down the phone at them. It's technically abuse, but I'm enjoying myself. That's the way I look at Podtoid.
Yeah.
But it is very humbling to think that some people, because some of them have had lovely notes to stuff that's direct from Amazon. Some of the stuff comes anonymous because it's from private sellers. I don't know who sent it. Today, a glow-in-the-dark Predator turned up.
Whoa.
I never had any of the Kenner Predators. It was always the Kenner Aliens because I always liked Xenomorphs more than Predators. But I thought, I'll whack a few on because they do look cool in a ridiculous way. The only Predator I was ever going to get was the Tribal Leader, and I went to Orpington once to get it, and they'd sold out. So I'd never got it. Went to Argos, and they let me down at Orpington. That's a bit of nostalgia.
Where's that, England?
Argos? Yeah, way back in England. Argos, store called Argos.
The Middle Earth? Where?
That was a weird store. You'd go in.
Sounds weird.
And it wouldn't be like a normal department store. I don't know if they've changed that now. But at least when I used to be in England, you'd go into an Argos and there'd just be catalogues chained to tables.
That's not a very good publisher experience.
No.
That's not the way a shopper wants to feel.
Absolutely not. You go up to... I don't know, at the same time, there was a weird, joy, waiting for a present. Because what you'd do is you'd go in, you'd look in the catalogue, or you'd already have looked at a catalogue back at home because they'd give them out. You'd go in, you'd find what you want, you'd write the code attached to the item on a slip of paper. They had these little pieces of paper out there with boxes. You'd write, this is very much like an online pass. Yeah. You'd go up to the register, and they'd have some set up, give them the code, they'd put the code into a machine, tell you if they've got it, they'd give you a ticket, you'd pay for it there. This is great. This is the Nintendo approach to retail. You'd then walk to another counter, like a desk, and watch the conveyor belt until you saw your item come out, and then they'd pick it up and say, whose is this? And you'd go, it's mine, that is my Zoid, or whatever. And they'd give you your Zoid, or your Boglin, or your Kenner Aliens, like I'd get, and then I'd take it home. And that's the Argos experience. They didn't have fucking Tribal Predator. And Argos was the only place I could get them.
Was there music playing in the background? Did they have in-store music like Tomato or Tomato? I guess it's from Shenmue.
I remember they had a TV once set up. They'd have some items displayed. And they had a TV set up, and Rocco's Modern Life was playing on it once.
That's not bad then.
Someone, I think Heifer was being dragged into the ocean, and Rocco was all like, "Hey, give me back my friend!" And the ocean turned into a person and said, "Rock off, he's mine!" And it sounded like he'd said, "Fuck off, he's mine." And I used to think it was so edgy that a cartoon would say, "Fuck off."
Yeah, I like that when that happens too. That happens in Metal Slug. You ever play Metal Slug?
Yeah, I played some Metal Slug.
Do you remember what happens sometimes when you die?
Nope.
I think it's player 2. Like when player 1 dies, it's like, ah! And then when player 2 dies, it's like, fuck! They just say it.
It's
in
funny
the arcade
when
game for
swear.
children. Yeah. It was funny because I was, 18 or 17 or something, and it was an arcade for children. What the fuck?
That must be why people like Podtoid.
Maybe they do. I think that
they're 18 and we talk like we're for children.
Actually, speaking of cool stuff, someone on Twitter, Logan.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Sorry,
yeah?
I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to get that shit out the way.
What stuff?
I just want to thank Brian Green.
Oh, you're thanking someone.
He went above and beyond. I had 2 boxes turn up with 3 of the fucking... Actually, technically 4. One was like a double. He got me the fucking Panther alien, the Wild Boar alien, and the Flying Alien Queen. Almost rounding out my collection on the Xenomorph side. I've just got a couple left, like Arachnid Alien and Snake Alien to get, which is on my Amazon wishlist if anyone wants to get it for me. But yeah, I mean, just awesome fucking guy. He told me, he said, I really want to get you loads of stuff because I like Podtoid and shit, so... Yeah, thank you, man. It's really good. Just whatever you do, whoever the Amazon seller was for the Wild Boar, don't give him a high fucking rating, because he sold it unboxed and kind of broken, so fuck that. The other stuff's top notch, though.
That's right, you tell him. So a man named Logan _Renfroe, Renfroe. Has this guy been in touch with you on Twitter, Jim?
Possibly.
His name, it's interesting. He did it kind of backwards. Most people have their Twitter @ be their like fun name, and then next to that is their real name. But where his real name would normally be, it just says "You must laugh" and then has a little laughing emoticon. He wants to like make me swords and like steel tables and stuff.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was communicating with him on Twitter. He said something. I said something back. I said, "Oh, that's fun," or "Oh, thanks for listening to the show," or "Hey, that was funny what you just said." And then he was just like, "You want me to make you a table?" I'm like, yeah, absolutely. If you want anything you want to make me, that's really nice. I'm not going to ask for anything specific. All right, I'm just going to make you some shit tonight. I'm like, all right. Then he just tweeted me something about making me a sword too. And he can sell it for major bank, and he can do all these things. And he's 15. He's only 15, and he has all these skills that he wants to show me. I don't know why I'm so lucky as to why this man named You Must Laugh would want to do that, this young man. So thank you if you're listening to the show. His little icon has 2, like, what do they call those? Balloon animals. Yeah, balloon animals of rabbits having sex with each other. That's something he thought was good. Yeah, it's fine with me.
Is it paedophilia or not if a 15-year-old like makes you look at rabbit balloons having sex? And you look at it and wank?
It is definitely not pedophilia if you are masturbating just at the picture of balloon animals.
You get off on the fact that it was sent by a 15-year-old.
Well, if you're
like, oh my god, the one thing that gets me off, right, is pictures of balloon animals sent to me specifically by 15-year-old young men.
Yeah, that would be sort of pedophilia for sure.
Pedophilia. I'll tell you what, Jonathan.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wizard Pedophilia or Not.
Oh no, that's not a game.
It's a new game.
How is that a game?
In the same way that the Running Man is a game. Lives are on the line, but we're all entertained. I'm actually thinking of going to Waddington's or any of the big name board game makers to make a board game based on is it pedophilia or not. Can you imagine that, Jonathan?
That's making me... I should laugh, but I frowned. going immediately. I pictured a board game with my like sad, tired, bald face.
Oh,
I'm
no,
like,
it'd
oh,
be a
why?
drawing of you, because I know we wouldn't be able to get a photo of you doing it. It would be a
Probably.
drawing of you with a huge smile on your face.
Is that
And
right?
one hand doing a thumbs up, the other one holding like what looks like an official document that says, I approve of this.
Yeah, that would
And
be
it's
hard.
called Jonathan Holmes's Is It Paedophilia or Not? Certified by Dr. Jonathan Holmes, PhD. DDS. So that's good.
Would you be on the box? People wouldn't buy it unless you were on the box.
Dude,
Like,
I wouldn't take credit for your ideas. Okay?
it's not my idea.
You know, I'll probably be on the back in the small print somewhere just for like manufacturing the pieces. You know,
That wouldn't be good for
plastic
publicity.
coloured diapers. Jim Sterling, he made those. You know, it might not be diapers, might be little pacifiers in the shapes of cocks.
That's the worst.
Is that paedophilia, giving a baby a pacifier in the shape of a cock?
Yeah, it pretty much
Yeah?
is. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm going to keep all these because part of the game, part of the board game, is it paedophilia or not, with Dr. Jonathan Holmes. It's going to be... This is so good! It's going to be like question cards. Like, you land on a square and it's like, pedo question.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you pick up the card, and then it just says a concept. Like, you know, dildo in the mouth.
Wow.
And you have to answer quickly within like 10 seconds whether it's paedophilia or not, yes or no. And if it's like no, you have to take out your penis or vagina and wank it off or stick something up it in front of a child.
It always, if it's no, even if no is the correct answer, it's just, well, answer is correct, but still, where's that large candle, or you know, where's that merkin? Tell me to work. Is that what would happen? You love your idea.
I love what you're bringing to the table.
Oh, I'm just, you know,
That would make
parroting
another
back what you're
brilliant
saying.
board game. Where's that merkin? But no, it's going to be like, you know, like Mousetrap or Hungry Hippos. You know, a practical, fun element where all the family can get involved. Do you remember Dizzy Dinosaur?
A little bit.
Where it was a board game, and the pieces were like, you know, they were there on the board, and you'd have a plastic wind-up dinosaur that would move erratically, and when it was time to activate Dizzy Dinosaur, you'd let him go, and he'd go all over the board, and there was a chance he could knock your figure over. And that's what I'm thinking of doing with this. In the middle of the board, we have a little plastic wind-up figure of you.
Of me?
Yeah, and the player pieces are babies and your cock's hanging out. And if the penis on the little plastic Jonathan Holmes touches a kid, then everyone points at the player who lost and said, it's paedophilia.
So I commit.
And they're out of the game. And also, oh, this is good. You know, like in the 90s where like toys came with that like green slime or whatever, or the gungy fake slime. That, but coloured like cum. And they toss it in the loser's face and go, that's paedophilia, you cum bastard.
Wow.
The corner, you cum bastard.
Wow. You know that there are thousands of people that would play this game. Like, I'm not kidding. There are people. Thousands. Not hundreds of thousands, no.
I might actually design it. I might physically make it.
Yeah, someone else might make it before you have the chance.
That's true. These people come in.
Yeah.
They love making stuff.
They do. They've got me. Maybe Logan will, after he makes me that steel table and that sword, maybe he'll make the cum-based board game where I commit acts of pedophilia and then you scream at your friends and call them child molesters. Maybe he'll make that tonight.
You call them a cum bastard.
Yeah.
Because they've had the cum on their face to represent you jizzing in the face of them.
Oh, it's me. Right. So they're the baby. I am the deliverer of the semen, and they're ashamed for having been abused by me. It's their fault. And you blame the victim. That might be a good for a board game. Blame the victim.
You fucking genius!
No. I'm just pretending to be you. That's all I'm doing. for now.
I wasn't even thinking about throwing in victim blame.
Yeah, that's how it comes across, because they've got the copy on their face. So
Next thing, get in the corner, you dirty cum bastard. You let him jizz your mouth.
Yeah, you need to be shamed for that. Shamed and punished.
I'm actually choking. Oh, God, I'm actually choking.
You okay? You okay?
Yeah,
You can talk. That's always the first thing we ask a choke victim.
Oh, my God.
You can talk. All right.
Well, I mean, you've got plenty of choke victims if that's the kind of stuff you're doing, you dirty man. Oh, man.
Mercy,
That was so good. I think that classifies as this week's Is It Pedophilia or Not?
I would hope so. That was, Jesus, almost a half hour of talk. Thing.
So I've got to really clear my throat now.
Yeah, take your time.
I apologise, listeners. Although, I mean, if you're put off by a bit of coughing after what you just said, sort it out. Very quickly then, let's just get this out of the way and move on to questions. Actually, get this out of the way, then move on to something you would like to talk about, Jonathan.
For me, we've already been going for like 2 hours, I think.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting their money's worth.
We can wrap whenever you want. I gotta do this Resident Evil feature. I'm not rushing you. I'm having a good time, but there's some stuff. I still have to review Zombie Attack. Jesus, I've got 3 more levels to go. I'm almost done. You remember that one, that Wii game? Yeah. Yeah, that's a joke that's worn out its welcome. Anyway, what were you going to talk about, Jim?
I just got quick man-baby thread of the week.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's do
it, man. This week, this is, again, from their classic box. The title is Professor Writes Article About How Semen is Good for Women and Loses His Job. Apparently a scientist wrote about semen being good for women as a mood enhancer. And apparently he lost his job as a writer there afterwards. And the men at the Men Going Their Own Way forums were fucking furious. They could not believe this. What the fuck did the guy do wrong? He cited all his sources and everything he said was fact. Some people, brackets, women, got offended because he made an off-colour joke and now he's out of a job. WTF.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, these guys, they got to the real heart of the problem. Matthias, for example, said, facts don't matter to women. End of story. End of story. There's nothing more.
Yeah, wow. Did anyone have anything to say from there, or was that just the end of the story?
No, for him, that's the end of Matthias' story.
His story's over. All
right. Chainring says that says politically inconvenient yet scientifically backed truths are not allowed under the feminazi regime. Remember, we live in a country where the public suggestion that rape is about sex, not power, which is patently obvious to any thinking, self-aware male, will get you fired from your job and ostracised by your social circles.
What? I didn't mean to yell. What? Did he just say that it's patently obvious that rape is always about sex and not power?
And not about power. Which does kind of almost sound like he's saying it is women's fault for being attractive to men.
Wow. Isn't he afraid of getting fired or anyone finding out that
he's furious. He's furious about that idea. He said if you suggest that, you get fired from your job and ostracized by your social circles. I mean, I would assume that happened to him.
Why don't you stop suggesting it? Why don't you think, well, maybe I'm wrong if I'm getting fired for doing something? Well, anyway, I'm sorry.
They don't think that way. And that's funny, they say that he's a self-aware male for doing this, and he's not aware of why it's wrong to say, I'll tell you why he raped you, love. You were probably, sexy with a vagina for a bit.
Yeah. So
that's
he's
why your husband punched you in the face and fucked you up the arse while you begged him to stop. Shouldn't have been wearing that short skirt, love. On my way, my work here is done. Funnily enough, this guy got banned. And for a guy who obviously thinks rape is sexy, I don't know what he could have done to have got banned.
So he got banned after that. He didn't get banned for that.
Oh, no, he did. I presume he got banned after that because everyone would agree with that. I'm assuming he probably said something like, you know what, I think I actually like women. And then they banned him, probably. Teo Twalki came up with I just think this is a golden comment. I might get this tattooed on my arm. He said, "Just wait. When they can't get cum, they needs cats."
Wow. So his explanation as to why people like cats, because I assume it's for both genders, right? Is that when you run out of a supply of semen, the only feasible replacement is just a couple of pet cats.
Apparently so. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a pet cat, but I come way too much. So I don't get the logic. Maybe it's just for women. It's like if the women can't get hold of loads of precious semen, they'll buy
It's
a
hard to
cat
find.
instead and maybe wank that off. I don't get the logic. The one says Galileo ran into the same sort of problem. I don't know what Galileo said about Tom. American feminists now have the power of the 16th century Roman Catholic Church.
Whoa. People love jumping to those intense conclusions that it's like the church or it's like slavery or it's like, what's something really bad? Child abuse or something. Yeah, they jump to that so fast. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been accused of potentially beating my wife.
Wow.
Because of jokes I've made on Destructoid about like sexy things. So it can work both ways. It's just especially sad when it's men because I can't think of anything more privileged than white men in America.
Indeed.
But this guy, I'm not going to read it all because he wrote what could only be described as Nicholas Nickleby but sexist. He wrote, "Of course semen is good for women. It guarantees them all kinds of welfare checks / government assistance for 18 plus years, rolls eyes. By the way, guys, there is no such thing as an accidental pregnancy.
What?
Women know what makes them pregnant, how to get pregnant, and the consequences. They know, guys! Repeat this 10,000 times over in your head so it really sinks in. The accidental pregnancy is a lie and a myth, just like soulmates or the one." I think
Where did that come from?
I have
Wow.
no idea.
Wow.
1 teaspoon, I'll skip some bits. 1 teaspoon of semen from a man in a westernized country is worth anywhere between $230,000 to $287,000 on average over an 18-year period.
It lasts for 18 years and still worth that much money? Wait, did I hear that right? Did he
Well, I'm
just
assuming they're saying that like 1 teaspoon of semen will guarantee a child.
I get it. That's a funny play on
And apparently, like, only men will pay for this child.
right.
Apparently.
So don't have children is the
That's the basic estimate. They're saying women like semen because it allows them to make babies to cost men money.
right.
And I don't get that. Like, they're saying, it makes so much money for the women, but it's like, surely that goes on the kid.
Oh yeah, well the kid barely exists.
Yeah, I mean, I know that my wife works very hard, and I work very hard, and we don't just let the child starve.
Right. Use the money to help the child survive.
To buy him food, which he doesn't eat because he's fussy, and then he starves.
Right. Yeah, I guess they. These guys. Wow.
No wonder women are so desperate to get in on the marriage racket. Again, this is this guy, Trogdor 005. That's an original name.
Trogdor?
Yeah.
That's so weird when people that are nothing like me like the same stuff I like. That's another reason. Yeah, you shouldn't be attracted to gamer women. That does no.
Not
I mean,
just
you can be attracted
because they're gay.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Thank you, Jim. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, no wonder women are so desperate to get in on the marriage racket. There's good dollars to be had. And I just touched on the children aspect of marriage. Is that pedophilia or not? I have not even delved into things such as common law property. Oh, and here's their favourite fucking word. Alimony, divorce settlements, asset division, attorney's fees, domestic violence, in quotes, marital rape, etc. Just these little things that women love. Women love domestic violence, marital rape to make money. That's a job. That's how Joan Rivers got rich. She kept marrying men and getting them to rape her, according to these guys.
Wow.
So yeah, he says, lol, marriage is a crock of shit. I always had my suspicions, but stumbling upon numbers such as the one I just mentioned just confirmed everything. Marriage is just about money, a business transaction. In this case, the man pays more and more of his hard-earned cash every passing year for the product, brackets, the woman, a rapidly deprecating asset. Sorry,
Whoa.
depreciating asset. The services, brackets, the sex, which dries up completely after the honeymoon is over. Completely after the honeymoon is over. Which is the exact opposite of virtually every other everyday purchase where the customer tries to pay less money for more products or higher quality services. Marriage is nothing but a divorce from logic and common sense. You'd have to be a fucking moron to sign up for such a shitty business deal. And yet every year millions of manginas and suckers, with the S as a dollar sign, still walk down the altar to be sacrificed to the matriarchy. Be a real man. Avoid marriage, and for fuck's sake, wrap up tight if you absolutely must fraternise with these creatures to avoid having the equivalent of a second mortgage payment on your eyes.
Whoa! He just called creating a human being that's made out of 50% of his DNA a second mortgage payment. Wow! And that's wow.
And
So
there was just one follow-up. I mean, there were several other posts, but the immediate follow-up from the dude one was, man, I have a sock that is priceless then. Which I think confirms the state that all these guys are in.
Why would you want to masturbate in a sock? Anyway, so I can't help but want to analyze these guys. I can't help it. I know it's a waste of time, but it's my instinct to say to myself, is this like a mob mentality where they're egging each other on, and then their little counterculture they formed on the internet that this behavior is rewarded, so they're making themselves worse and worse and worse? And do they have any concept at all of the fact that they're just making all men look incredibly terrible? I mean, there's some people that have trouble differentiating that some people are good and some people are bad in different classifications like gender or race or whatever. So they're just making us all look like the worst people on the planet, Jim.
Yeah, I know.
What are they doing?
It's a shame because, I mean, you do get women who, they get fucked over by a guy, and just like these guys were probably fucked over by a single individual woman, and, they go on to assume that everyone is like that. Sure. And then you see shit like this that just obviously must confirm it. You get a guy that puts marital rape in brackets, in quotes, as if it doesn't exist.
Yeah, he wouldn't call it that, but other people call it that. Yeah.
I mean, if I kicked open my door right now and tried to have sex with my wife, who is ill at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. That's rape. Well, I mean, it obviously wouldn't. She'd even ill, she'd punch my face in. It would be attempted.
Sure, it would be. Absolutely. I don't argue that.
But to these guys think that domestic violence and marital rape are business ideas that women have had.
Wow.
Like they all got together and said, here's a fun thing, ladies. Get a man to rape you, trick him into raping you, and then make money. Somehow I don't think that's what women do.
There's so many other ways to make money. Yeah,
there are better ways to make money than getting raped and hoping for an alimony payment.
Wow. Well, the moral of the story...
Actually, I must say, one of them... one guy does have other alternatives for how women can get ahead. This comes from Mongol King, who says, no matter which way you look at it, women are making out like bandits over sex. They sell sex as prostitutes. They promise sex as wives. They trade sex for promotions, influence, political favours, good grades. They lie about sex happening in order to exact revenge, or pass the blame, or provide an alias, or settle a score. They lie about being afraid of sex in order to get the lion's share of all college funding, and have guys kicked out. In this story, they use sex to have a guy sacked. That's about the professor who said women love spunk. Replaced by a women and some femme-centric political points scored. And after all this blatant self-serving hypocrisy in which sex is the chief weapon they use to enrich themselves, they pretend to be scandalized by any suggestion of the subject. How can we be so stupid as to let this pass without laughing in their bigoted, greedy, ridiculous, fat faces? And in our millions, what the hell is wrong with us?
They're bigoted fat faces.
Oh yeah, all women are fat as well to these guys.
And bigoted. Yeah, they're
fat and bigoted.
I think this goes to show that anytime you say anyone of a certain, even job profession or class or social type or gender, anytime you lump them all together like that, you have the potential to sound as stupid as these people. So please don't be like them at all. Anyone, please.
Well, just stop talking about races and genders and sexual preferences as if, like, it's a personality trait.
Yeah,
it's not. You know, a lot of people are cunts, and it's not their gender or, you know, wherever they like to put, like, bits of themselves into, or their colour that makes them a cunt. They're just cunts. They're just people. And humans, you know, are evolved to be selfish, self-interested, vain bastards. And I don't even say that negatively, because I think what you should do is just use misanthropy in general to appreciate the genuinely good people.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of humans are bastards, but some are fantastic, and just concentrate on them and be happy with those people. Don't just be angry at everyone all of the time. And I say that to anyone, not just these men's rights guys. Don't be angry all of the time. You know, be angry at someone who's upset you or whatever, but don't label a whole swath of people under that and assume that it's one trait about them that's different from you. Because chances are, if you're acting that way, you're a cunt too.
Yeah, that's the main thing I see, is just almost everyone I know who calls out a group or an idea on the internet or in real life, they're doing exactly what they're angry at other people for doing. Almost every single time. There's this thing where people, they know themselves and they assume other people are as awful as they are. So they'll be like, you know, well, I'm a total dick, so that guy is probably also a total dick. I hate that dick. And then they'll complain about that dick. But they are the ones who are the dick, Jim.
Yeah.
Cunt people, you called them, I believe. Cunt people.
Cunt people.
Yeah. Who needs them? Stop being cunt people, everyone. Just be a nice people. It's easy.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just be nice. It's fine. Do it all the time. It's not hard.
Yeah. Aww.
That was a nice ending.
It was a nice
positive
ending.
Yeah, you did well there.
People, I'm sure that they would say that just means we're pussy whipped manginas. But, you know.
Do you know Puss Whip Bang Gang?
No.
You should look into that.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, just look up Puss Whip Bang Gang. They've got some good songs.
Awesome, I'll do that. I once did a show with a band called Scrotum Clamp.
What kind of show did you do?
I did stand-up comedy, and then they did punk music.
That sounds great.
It was an interesting night. They didn't want me there. Not the band. The band wanted me there, but everybody else didn't.
Sure. Well, punk rockers tend to...
Yeah. And it didn't help that was also where I did my first public Uncle Reg joke. Was in the middle of this bar full of punk rockers who were there to see a band called Scrotum Clamp and didn't want this fat man in a blazer talking about being raped by his uncle.
Why not?
It was a brilliant joke. I said, I can't remember how I led into it, but I was like, I used to have this uncle. He was a lovely man. But he was two people. He was he possibly had that illness, where multiple personalities, dissociative disorder. Because in front of the rest of the family, he was my lovely Uncle Reg. But I kind of like the other personality because when Mum and Dad would leave, he would become Mr. Shankly Pants, the clown with the curious tickle, who I liked very much. And then one person would laugh, which was my friend Leo, who is a lovely guy, and he loved it. And one, I think the guitarist of Scrotum Clank just looked at me with a big grin and just kind of shook his head confused. And then I went, only joking, my uncle didn't rape me. It was me dad. Good night. And that was part of this.
Did you get any laughs out of that? That sounds like a great joke.
I got a couple, but most of them were just confused.
Yeah, stand-up comedy stuff like that.
My stand-up career didn't last long. I think I did two stand-up comedies.
It's hard. I've never...
Both at music venues with people that didn't want me there. They were there to see music. I remember the first time my brother gave me a call and said, "Oi, bruv, where are you?" And I'm at home. "Get down here, do comedy." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "I've got a gig for you, stand-up comedy." And I haven't got any material. And he went, "Well, steal some! Just do something like what Harry Hill does," or something. Harry Hill being a stand-up comedian in Britain. He said, "Just do some Harry Hill jokes." So I desperately wrote material, including the Uncle Reg thing, and some stuff on Iraq, hilarious political satire.
Whoa.
I complained that Iraq was being fought in Iraq, and I didn't want to see that on the TV, so I wanted them to move the war to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because it is got bright lights and he's looking great. I did that. I did a bit about Mickey Mouse having sex with Pluto the dog. And yeah,
sounds like gold. I'm shocked.
Yeah. And before that, I did sketch comedy with Leo, and some other guys on and off. Did some shows, none of which were commercially successful at all.
It's all being in the right place at the right time. Yeah. Well, you've got a comedy career now, a comedy editorial, journalistic career.
Oh, I've got Podtoid. I got Podtoid where we shout and do Macho Man impressions and call it a product.
You do all sorts of stuff. You know all the stuff you do. People are still talking to me about the Ocarina of Time soundtrack review. How they've watched it a billion times and never gets old. You know about your magic, Jim. Don't be so coy about your magic.
Is there anything you want to talk? I'm sorry, I feel like I've dominated the show this week more than you.
No, I talked a lot. I wouldn't shut up earlier.
I do apologize.
No, you've done great, as always. I've enjoyed every second of it. I don't have a lot. Do I have a lot? No. I ran my...
When was the last time we talked about a video game? Was it Resident Evil 2 hours ago?
We talked about publishers. We talked about the industry. We talked about Resident Evil. We did talk about a lot of other stuff, though.
This glow-in-the-dark Predator I got so cool. Glows in the dark, but what's the point of that?
Well, just so he can be seen in the dark, so you don't miss him.
Yeah, and he's a predator, and the other ones are invisible. And he's like, "I tell you what we need, be more visible." I've got some sweet samurai. He's got samurai trousers on, and he's like, maybe they want to look at my samurai trousers. I don't want them invisible.
The Predator is wearing samurai trousers?
They look a bit like samurai trousers, and he's got a chest plate that looks like a xenomorph head.
Oh yeah,
so he's styling. He's looking good. Maybe he just wants to be seen.
Sounds very fashionable. I did want to ask you something way back when you mentioned Skeleton Warriors.
Skeleton Warriors!
What are they skeletons of? They're not human skeletons, are they? Because their bones are huge. They're like 9-foot-tall skeletons.
They're better the bone. They are former humans.
Really? Why their bones are real big?
They all have these special jewels that fit on their chests. This was the best gimmick they could come up with for the toys, was slightly translucent gems.
What do the gems do? Make their big bone?
They'd fit on their chest and it would transform them into monstrous skeleton creatures. And that would make them invincible as well. And if you ever prized the gem off them, they would turn back into normal humans.
Not normal skeletons, but just normal
humans, yeah.
Wow. Because a skeleton, as you know, is less than a full-sized human. That's why I'm always kind of surprised in horror movies when they're like, the skeletons are attacking. Like, oh, there's just the bones that you can just push over are attacking? That's not at all threatening. If it was a guy, I'd be scared because he's got muscle and, maybe...
Well, the thing about these skeletons is, as the theme tune says, they're bad to the bone. and they're all bone, so you've got to assume they're all bad.
Oh, right. So their bones are bad, and their bones are
They can't be killed. They can't be killed.
That's true. They can be pushed over.
Kick Baron Dark over, and that was bad. Trusting Baron Dark. They acted surprised when he betrayed them and turned evil and turned into a skeleton. Oh my god, Baron Dark has betrayed us.
I assume he was one of the leaders of the Skeleton
He was the
Warrior.
leader. There was Baron Dark, there was some others, Arachnid Boy or something. Had like 6 arms.
Yeah, I mixed that up with what was the one where they had holograms on their chests?
That was either Visionaries or Visionaires. I think it's Visionaries. I had
and
a
they could
couple
make
of
a
those.
castle come out of their chest if they had a hologram of the castle on them
Yeah,
or something, or a tiger. Just make a tiger jump out of your chest.
yeah. And the toys, obviously, yeah, they had like the little reflective holograms on their chest, and that was their big gimmick. God, the 90s and 80s were great.
Yeah, you've got a kid. Are his toys anything like the toys we had? Are they even slightly good?
I mean,
what has he got?
He's not really into that kind of toy. He loves Lego and swords, basically.
All right.
It's he recently got a Toys R Us card, and we took him out for being good at school, and we got him the Adventure Time sword, the replica.
Oh, cool!
Fucking $16 for a plastic sword, rip off.
It's an Adventure Time sword, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got.
It's a yellow plastic sword.
So it's just a regular sword that says Adventure Time on the box.
I mean, I'm not one to talk because I bought that myself. I fucking got 2 of the 2-pack figures. I got the one with Lumpy Space Princess. $8, and these things look like they've come out of a Christmas cracker.
I've been meaning to buy those, but I keep forgetting. I guess I should put that on my. Should I put it on my just to make you feel less guilty for having a wish list? Should I make a wish list that just has Adventure Time crap on it?
Yeah, do it.
All right, I'll do it. How do you do that? You go to Amazon or something?
Go to Amazon, make your account, and set up your wish list, and then give people the link, and they'll buy you stuff. If they want to buy you stuff, and because they're kind and lovely people. And just ask me on Twitter if you want my wish list, and I'd be an arsehole to not give you the link, or maybe they've got a search function on Amazon. Just look up Jim Sterling or Jim S, and maybe my wish list will be there. I don't know. Fuck. How am I supposed to know? I don't constantly track my wish list every day, do I? And I'm keeping adding things, so if you have bought me something, you can still buy me new stuff. I don't do that at all.
Why would you do that?
No, I don't have a snake alien on there that I really like. No!
No!
Sounding like one of the worms from Worms. Oh, no!
Oh, from the video game Worms. They still make those, don't they?
Yeah.
I gotta get you on Teenage Pokemon. You're much better at voice acting and just being fun than I am. I'm worried this episode isn't good enough for you. We'll see. I gotta do some work on that tonight.
Tell me some stuff.
Yeah, I will.
Anyway, my God, how long has this gone on for?
2.5 hours, I think.
2 hours 6 minutes. According to that's how long the recording's been going for anyway. And I think I just going to use everything we've done. But let's do some questions, shall we?
I forgot about them.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell. Let's just try and be quick. Pillow Fort. He says, Holmes, you can cure the world of one specific mental illness. Which one is it?
Oh, that's tough because mental illness is. It's only illness if it's debilitating your ability to enjoy your life. If it limits you from enjoying your life, then it's illness. And a lot of times, mental health symptoms actually make people's life a lot more fun. That lady I know who talked with the psychic alligator in the sewer, I would never want to take that away from her because she loved it, and it was just to the point where it was making her life worse because she wasn't eating and sleeping, and she was going to kill herself because she thought the alligator wanted her to. People didn't want her to die, so kept her from killing herself. And she was very happy when she left. We had a great time with her. Anyway, yeah, mental illness, I guess severe anxiety disorder, because that doesn't do anyone any good. Anxiety and worry is just completely worthless garbage and leads people to harm themselves and other people all the time. So, yeah, I don't see the upside to anxiety, but every other mental health symptom can in fact be a mental health strength depending on your setting and your ability to use it. That's my long answer.
Why did you say you would want to remove gayness? That's not a mental illness, because before we recorded he read the questions. He said, right, tell you the truth, gayness, that's what I'm going to get rid of if I'm in charge of getting rid of mental illnesses. Why did you tell me that privately, Jonathan Holmes?
I did. I would never, not not once in my life have I ever thought
No.
that gayness. I was scared of a gay man once, though.
Uh-oh.
He came out of the shower, and he was a hunk, and I was like 16. I'm like,
Came
whoa.
out of the shower, you just do it in the plug hole.
He was a sexy Latino hunk, and he came out of the shower. He walked out of the shower, I should say, and I was like 15 or something, and I'm like, is he gonna immediately have sex with me? Am I gonna like it? Oh God, am I gay now? This sucks. I don't want to have to worry about being gay. And then I realized how ridiculous it was, and I got over it immediately. That's how I stopped being homophobic, Jim. That's my story.
That's good. I think a lot of people, when they were younger, were either scared or disliking of it. I'm sure when I was younger, I would make lots of sort of jokes about gay people, but not fun ones, which is just so ironic now. It's like, why is that?
Well, there was a lot of negative hype when I was 15. People are saying, oh, if you're gay, that's a bad thing. And I was like, buy into the hype. But since I've learned to not believe the hype.
Yeah. There's no point. No point. Just
not at all.
Especially, considering how many gay-hating pastors and ministers have come out as secretly loving cock, I imagine a lot of them sort of have had similar experiences as you, but they actually did get bummed and realise this is brilliant. I love all this. Love it.
They call that reaction formation. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, if a ex-alcoholic who still really wishes they could drink has a really tough time coping with that in terms of their ego defense and their self-esteem and their ability to cope, then they'll say all bars everywhere should be banned and alcohol is evil for everyone. Likewise, if you want to, as you say, get bummed, but you feel really badly about it and your self-esteem and ego and identity can't cope with it, then you'll go the opposite extreme in order to feel good about yourself and in the process be kind of a jerk.
That's sad. And you know what? I think maybe that might be a mental sort of, I guess it's not an illness, but a mental issue I'd love to resolve would be those people.
Reaction formation?
Reaction formation.
Let's get rid of reaction formation. You can talk people out of it. That's a good thing about that one. It's a talker.
Yeah.
You just tell people stop it, and then they'll stop.
Oh, well. Tomothy25 said, and I don't even think Destructoid posted about it. We should probably get on that. What are your thoughts on the rumoured Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game by Rocksteady? I think they've got the perfect name for it.
What was it again? Like Mutants Must Die or something?
Don't know. I think that's X-Men.
Oh, Rocksteady! I get it, because the company.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously these guys did Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and there's talk that they're doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm so for. I am so all about that, because the love letter they did to Batman, they've got so much to do with that one. They could fucking throw in, Baxter Stockman, the Rat King, fucking the killer pizzas,
Sure, Leatherhead, the mutant crocodile, the Triceratons.
That's it. I was trying to think of the...
Yeah. The talking pizza. The Krang. You're thinking of Krang. The... Do you remember the aliens, the Triceratops?
No, I'm not talking about that. There was a famous episode.
The talking pizza?
The Attack of the... something like Attack of the Killer Mutant Pizzas or something. And it was basically aliens. They had these, pizzas that had mutated and grown big, xenomorph, heads and stuff. And
I remember that now. The toy was awesome for that guy.
There was a big event about that. I say event, it was a special episode, I believe it was, and they really hyped it up, and it came out on VHS, and they were like, oh, you gotta get this one, or you're a dick. I don't think they said that to kids, but
Yeah.
But I'm so excited about it, because they did such a good job with Batman. Rocksteady's one of the few studios I would now trust to do any game based on anything I've ever enjoyed in my childhood. They need to do a Skeleton Warriors game. Skeleton Warriors versus Street Sharks.
Well, sadly, I'm less fun when it comes to this topic, Jim. As you probably know, I don't generally like it when things that I liked as a kid and I liked what they did when I was a kid get grown up for me. It usually makes it worse for me. I don't really like Arkham City. I don't want to play it at all. I look at the graphics. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look like what I like. And then I go see the 60s Batman, or I see the 90s Batman cartoon show, or even read Batman comics. And I'm like, that's the Batman I like. I don't want him transformed into something that's dark and hunky. Dark hunky. No. No dark hunky for me. And the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, they're all right. They're not my favorite Batman movies. They're okay. A little bit too serious, a little boring, a little bit self. They forget that Batman is a man dressed as a giant bat who throws little bat-shaped boomerangs at strangers and calls it crime fighting. It's not a serious concept to me, but they take it dead seriously, and it's hard for me to not laugh sometimes with wherever he talks.
I'm not going to say anything to that because I don't want to be killed.
Yeah, people get really, really, and that only, I know this sounds weird, but it only validates my opinion more strongly, because when people are that emotional about defending Batman Arkham City or the Nolan movies as being, the second coming, their emotional bias, I'm going to come right out and say it, bias shows that they're not really looking at the games and the movies critically. They're so emotionally attached to them, like loved ones, that they can't calmly and rationally discuss the pros and cons of the movies and the games, and why someone such as myself, a 34-year-old male who's had Batman in his life ever since the 70s, really, when I was 3 or 4. I wanted Robin Underoos, but they didn't make them back then. Anyway, yeah, I'm a lifelong Batman fan, and that's not the version of Batman I like. There's no reason to get angry at me about that, but I'm sure people will.
So you'd like more of an Adam West Rocksteady Batman game?
What I would want the most is like the recent comics drawn by Frank Quietly and written by I'm blanking on his name. He's a really weird writer. He's really hit or miss. When he's good, he's great, and when he's bad, he's terrible. I can't remember his name, but Batman isn't a gruff, angry, mean-spirited douche, and it's not a wet, slimy, dark, ugly world. That just doesn't make sense for a guy named Batman. He is not to be taken.
Well, I don't know. I think some of the more darker, serious writers have actually made that a plot point and done very well with it.
Oh, sure.
I believe the Joker's pointed out many times, like, how can you call yourself sane when you dress up like a bat and run around?
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Moore, Killing Joke, that tone would make... And look at the Batman in the Killing Joke. He is a relatively muscular, but not ridiculously steroided out dude, unlike the Arkham City Batman, who I don't like him, I don't want to be him, I don't want to look at him, I just want nothing to do with that guy. He just sucks. Bad. Just can't stand him. He sucks. Sorry, just don't like him. Not for me. It's too, it reminds me of smoking in the boys' room. And
fair enough.
Boys wanting to... when you're in the boys' room, Jim, did you ever have the guys be like, whip it out? And then they want to cross the... I knew that would make you laugh. And then cross the streams. They want to pee in the same toilet with you and have pee fights.
Jonathan, I would love to pee in the same toilet. I'd like to actually... Can I just be your toilet at E3? You can just piss right in my mouth.
Awful. Yeah, so I'm not excited about Rocksteady doing TMNT at all. And they changed, Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
I really like Harley Quinn in her original incarnation in the 90s series, cartoon series. And then for Arkham City, they had to put her in a cleavage-revealing bustier and have her look like a goth prostitute. They're actually changing her design in the comics. The classy, universally understood and acceptable without so much style shoved down to your face that you feel like you're in the middle of a Limp Bizkit video. They're rejecting the original Harley Quinn design now, so it looks like Arkham City. I'm totally depressed about it. Anyway, enough venting for me. I'm sorry, Jim. Do you want to do another question?
Corelio asked if we could ever get Dale onto Podtoid, and he'd like to see his reaction to my jokes. Dale was going to be on Podtoid. This is the thing. Podtoid was originally me and Nick Chester and Dale North. I say originally, I mean originally post Anthony's hosting.
Yeah, it was like 2010, late 2010. I heard about
Yeah,
that.
we were sort of practicing. We did like 3 shows, which I think are still in the Destructoid community blogs. Nick Chester posted them if you want to find his old C blog. And they tested well, but Nick and Dale just couldn't devote the time to it. And then obviously we wanted to position Tara and Max onto it to sell the Detoid show. It was like, cross-promotional type stuff. And then obviously I brought on Holmes and I was brought on myself. So yeah, that's how it worked. And yeah, I'm sure we could get Dale on at some point. Dale's fucking hilarious.
He is.
He's fucking
really
brilliant. He's got a very I don't know how to describe his humor. It's kind of it's random but not abstract. It's more of like just he'll make a very dry statement totally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Very good guy. So yeah,
it's like effortless. I spent Japan. I was with Dale in Japan for like a week, and it was one of the best weeks of my life. The lack of effort he puts into a joke, versus how hilarious the joke is like no one else I know.
It's like the complete opposite of me.
No, your jokes are really good too, and you seem completely natural about it. But your energy level is high. He'll just in like 3 words be like, "Yeah, that's hot," or I can't do it, but in the context, he just nails it. Oh, yeah. So much fun hanging out with him, but he's so busy. He returns an email to me like 2 weeks later, and I know he's doing like 20 reviews right now and networking his ass off to get Destructoid out there. So it'll be tough, but we should try to get him on. Absolutely, that'd be great.
Pandaloon said, Jim, you're such a fucking pimp. How do you keep the bitches at bay? That's very easy. I eat more food than I burn off. And then the ladies don't want to sex on me. That's a good thing. Good way of doing it. Links Zig66 says, how does Jonathan Holmes feel about getting his face in a newspaper, even if it was in a different language, also abortions? What? Because obviously, the Sopa... Did we even mention it? But Destructoid Sopa Blackout, the pictures we did, the black and white photos, a couple of those ended up in the paper. My photo wasn't in there, so I don't care.
I actually talked about that at my day job today. People at my day job know who you are and ask me how you're doing. Yeah, a 50-year-old psychiatrist who I really like a lot as a person. Talk to me about how famous you are today and how I'm never going to reach your level and stuff like that.
Yeah. Sounds like an asshole.
No, he's really funny. He knows it's going to make me laugh. He's not that different from you, actually. You're like, oh, Jonathan, I don't know why you're struggling to reach that Jim Sterling level, because sadly, I mean, you just don't have that level of star power. Trust me, maybe you had to be there, but it was funny. Why did I bring him up again? Oh, yeah. I told everyone at work today that I was in the newspaper, and they were really impressed and happy, and so was I. I am... Oh, God damn it. I'm so lucky. I don't even know what to feel. Because I'm in the indie game, the movie, for like 5 seconds, too. I don't deserve to be in that, but they didn't edit me out. And people saw the movie and said it was really good. And then this guy's going to make me a chair. And then I'm in Retro City Rampage that's coming out in a few months. And Jesus, man, what have I done to deserve all this? It's great.
Awesome.
That's my answer.
Street Fighter, we've got some really nice, snappy questions here, so I get to pack a few more in.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Street Fighter says, Are You Smarter Than a 10-year-old or, 5th grader? A show about training paedophiles to outsmart youngsters? I haven't seen it. Yes, it definitely is, and if you watch it, it gets you on like a sexual... Not on the sex register, but on a pre-register that the cops know about, so don't watch that show.
That's a great question. I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
But Jarhawk 2009 said, Jonathan Holmes, are you completely fed up of pedophilia questions and sex jokes? Is there something, brackets, apart from video games that you would rather talk about?
No. All I really want to talk about is
pedophilia, games. So you are happy with the pedophilia and sex jokes?
No, I'm content. I'm not all that interested in a lot of other things other than my day job, which I talk about at my day job plenty. I'll tell you some good stories now and again. Hopefully they're good. But video games and day job is all I care about, yeah. There.
Yeah. Ace Flibble wants to know if I would still do Sarah Green. Yeah. That's a very
Sarah Green.
It's a very British thing. She used to do like game shows and kids TV when in Britain in the 90s. So there.
Is she pretty? Is she pretty or something?
She was a lovely angel of a woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like
There's a
Alyssa
lot of...
Milano. Oh,
Here's the
sorry.
thing, guys.
No, tell me.
The paedophilia questions. Now, we get through a lot of pedophilia. That's terrible.
Wow.
In the show itself, so I don't really ask those questions that are in the thread. If you really want to know something about pedophilia, you can always privately ask Jonathan on his... He's got an official like psychology line, like Kelsey Grammer's radio show in Frasier.
No, I don't.
That's at Tromnots, TRONKNOTTS. He will answer anything you need desperately answered.
Oh no.
Otherwise, you can send me like ideas on Facebook or Twitter, and then sometimes I will relay them to him on the show. In the question thread, by the time we get to the questions, we're all pedoed out. So that's why I don't really answer them. There are some really interesting ones, but we don't have time because we've talked about it so much. I mean, Brown Eye Winkin does want to know, Jonathan Holmes, is it pedophilia or not if I want to destroy Roll Casket Strawberry Pink Puckered Anus? But we just can't answer that. But I did have to read it.
No, Roll Casket, that's more a phebophilia, I think, anyway. Because Roll Casket, as you probably know, is from Mega Man Legends, who is, she's got some adult traits. Whereas Roll from the core Mega Man series, that's total pedophilia, because she has a big head and a little body.
He wants to destroy her,
she doesn't have an anus.
Her anus.
She's a No, there's no anus. She's a drawing. It's a
strawberry pink anus. Puckered and waiting for you, Jonathan.
Me? See, that's the next level of...
Was that an orgasmic sigh of relief?
No,
you thought of her... I don't even know her name. Strawberry Cum Basket's puckered anus. And you just went, Strawberry Cum Basket's puckered anus.
No.
I sex with your anus.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Whoa! It's like when Hagar does his extra joy move, or no, Colossus in the X-Men arcade game. No, I'm sensing that the next level of is it pedophilia or not is going to be Jonathan Holmes. Are you a pedophile or not? You're slowly turning me into the pedophile. I don't know if you noticed that. You're slowly doing that.
Hey, don't victim blame.
No, all right, I'm sorry.
I don't even know how that works. Jonathan Holmes. I know how you loved Super Meat Boy, but did you like Isaac? Never heard you talked about it. You did the review, didn't you?
No, I didn't, and I didn't...
Oh, it was Did Jordan do the review?
Yeah,
okay.
Reviewing PC games for me probably is not going to happen, unfortunately, because my PC sucks, and I really can't... With so many great PC editors, doing reviews on them anyway, I can't really justify buying a PC just to do reviews because it's not really needed, and I can't justify it just for fun either because everything I actually should be doing with my computer, which is work, I can do just fine. I just can't really play games on it. So the reason I didn't play much of Binding of Isaac is because it ran incredibly slow, even though it's a Flash game on my computer. I did buy it though, and I like the idea of it, and I hope that they do actually bring it to the 3DS. If they bring it to the 3DS, I'm sure I'll play it a lot. But you probably knew that they might not bring it to the 3DS because apparently Nintendo of America is a little worried that a game about a naked boy rising out of his basement and killing his evangelistic Christian mother for locking him down there because Jesus told her to may be a PR nightmare for Nintendo.
But is it pedophilia or not?
It's not. I haven't played the whole game, but I'm pretty sure that no sex with children. Though they are nude, I think. All the kids in that game are nude.
Dirty.
It's a little weird. It's good, though. It's a good game.
Hey Sana says, Jim, is that your voice of Starscream in the Death Battle episode with Starscream in it? Not as the main one, but I am in it at the end. I play his ghost. His ghost comes out of his broken body, and that's me doing those lines with interspliced with some of the others who weren't good enough to be proper Starscream. So that's me. And one more, because I've got to do a really juicy poo. Give Me Bunny Rabbit wants to know, Jonathan Holmes, what is your favourite Metroid game?
Wow, I can't believe that so many people asked me questions this week.
I know, after you moaning and complaining all the
I
time,
feel so
everyone asks questions about me. And
well, you
then,
are better than me. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just,
I know,
when
I just
people
like
ask me questions for you.
yeah, I like pretending that it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
upsets you, though.
Yeah, I feel bad. I don't want you to feel like I'm, hating on you. I'm not a player hater, am I, Jim?
No!
No, I'm not a player hater.
I think you've
Uh,
always hated the game.
hated the game?
Yeah, you've done the right thing and hated the game instead of
Oh, instead of the
the
player.
participant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, I mixed up my terminology. The question was, what is my favorite Metroid game?
yeah.
I don't know. Super Metroid is great, but sometimes the atmosphere and the mood of the original Metroid. I know a lot of people don't like the original Metroid, but I really like the original Metroid a lot, and I also like Metroid Prime 2 a lot. Another one that's not all that popular, but similar to what we were talking about with Resident Evil, Metroid Prime 2 introduces all of these limits on the player that are new that evoke a sense of fear, yet they felt pretty fair to me because the rules are straightforward, what with the light and dark world and stuff. I really loved all that stuff, and I loved it in Shadows of the Damned too. It didn't feel tired or old when Shadows of the Damned basically combined Metroid Prime 2 and Resident Evil 4 into one game. I wish we'd talked more about Shadows of the Damned today, actually, Jim. Do you think that's a good game that made you feel tense and afraid while you were playing it, or was it a little bit too light and slapsticky for that?
Yeah, it was too funny for me to take it as a scary game at all.
But I
I mean,
felt
it
real.
could get intense at times.
Yeah, when the goat head is swinging and going, "Meow, meow," and you have to shoot it like just at the right time as all the guys are surrounding you.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty nice design idea there for tension.
They took a lot of. Because I've said before that silliness can sometimes be like the scariest shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it should be so disarming, but it's been perverted in a way that just makes it more threatening.
Sure.
Jacob's Ladder does that. Like when you look at the monsters in Jacob's Ladder, they look ridiculous and stupid, but
Mm-hmm.
that makes them scarier because it's like that thing looks stupid, but it's clearly malevolent.
Right,
And there's
right.
something like it's the same thing that I think makes clowns look so scary to people.
Oh, good
Um,
point. Yeah.
and they took that from like a lot of that stuff from Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Evil Dead was a big inspiration for them, and I think the goat came a lot from the moose head in the cabin that does that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and there is a weird cartooniness to it, but that kind of makes it scarier. I mean, I defy anyone when they were a kid who watched Roger Rabbit and weren't terrified as fuck when Judge Doom went mental. That shit's kind
Yeah.
of scary when it gets silly but still sinister.
Yeah, it's like they injected evil into your cereal, and looks sugary sweet on the outside, but
Yeah.
it might still kill you.
That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I loved Insidious, which was a movie that was out, I think, like 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I never saw that.
It was, yeah, I mean, it was silly in many ways and had a weird humor to it, but it was so, like, over the top and so unapologetic in its stupidness that it gave the monsters a freaky confidence, I mean,
Huh.
the main baddie was covered in lipstick and had a huge nose and listened to Tiny Tim. But he did it with such confidence that it was like, holy fuck, he's gonna fuck my shit up.
Wow, I should check that out. That sounds different and
It's
unique.
definitely, and it's got, like, the first half's terrifying. The second half's kind of really silly, but yeah, I mean, it's a great film, I think.
Huh, Insidious. I'll check it out. And Gary, I got to bring him up again. Gary Lewis and the Playboys is some of the scariest music ever written. Do you know it?
I don't think I
What's
know
that?
those guys. I'm not too sure.
I'll sing them for you. Everybody loves a clown, but why don't you? Like
That sounds familiar. That
it's
does sound
it's
familiar.
so creepy. Clowns have feelings too. Like really wanting you to be empathetic and emotional with a clown. It's Jerry Lewis's son. Jesus Christ, it's creepy. Check him out.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and I think that's all we've got, really.
Yeah,
And
we've
that's
done it.
another 2.5 hour one. Fuck. No.
Yeah, it's great that we get to do this.
Max
Show. I feel
isn't
quite
wrong. This
privileged.
is like the length of Lord of the Rings every week as well. Every week we expect people to devote a Lord of the Rings to us.
Yeah, and they do. They thank us for giving them that much time to just feel whatever feelings they get from listening to us talk to each other. Wow, weird. The future. This is it. This is the future we're in. We're doing it. We're making it right now.
This is what makes the likes of Universal Media Group afraid. This
Yeah.
barnstorming free content.
That people, for whatever reason, I find with Podtoid, it's not blown up to be as big as Mark Maron's comedy podcast or whatever, but the people who like it are so loyal and so truly connected to us emotionally that it's better than having millions of people kind of like your thing.
Oh, absolutely. I used to say before I had any degree of fame, I'd rather have 3 people love me than 30,000 people mildly enjoy me.
Yeah.
That's silly. That's not a sustainable business model.
No.
As I've gotten older, I have updated that, but the sentiment still rings true in terms of, just what I would appreciate more of. I love the fact that people are that into Podtoid and very grateful for it. And that's why it's my, one of the reasons why it's my favourite thing to do every week. This is literally the best part of my job right now, is sitting here and bullshitting with Jonathan and Max when he's not too busy, and obviously Tara before she died in that car accident.
I think we should have Lee Alexander on, if she's really willing to do it, just to see what happens.
Nothing would happen.
She would not talk?
I'd be way too awkward. And she would get annoyed. And plus, I saw footage of her doing the giant bumcast when she was really drunk. And she'll get drunk and she'll tell secrets about us.
I think we should do this thing. I want to see what she's like. I want to like her. I want to give her the opportunity to be our friend and to put her best foot forward, and we'll do the same. You can do all the great stuff you do every week. That's putting your best foot forward with the whole board game about throwing sperm in a stranger's face and calling them a cum bastard.
I really don't think Lee Alexander, respected game journalist of stage and screen, would enjoy me saying, "Hey, Lee Alexander, respected game journalist of stage and screen, you're a cum bastard."
She might. There's only one way to find out. I'm excited about the prospect of it. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, my vote is yes. I'll let you know right now. That's my vote. Yes. No. We'll see.
I mean, if Lee would really like to, but I just fair fucking warning.
You're very. The thing about you, Jim, that I think a lot of people overlook is that you are so polite's not the right word because that's artificial. You genuinely care about the experience of others, and you want to give them every opportunity to avoid an uncomfortable experience that you might provide for them by accident or intentionally. Yeah. But you give them fair warning.
I mean, I say that despite the things inviting you to piss in my mouth.
But you know me pretty well.
But I must point out that I have always, at all times, whenever I've worked with someone, told them up front, if there is anything you do not want to keep in, if there is anything you do not want me to continue doing, tell me, and it will be gone. It'll be absolutely gone. And the trouble is I can't really have that discussion with Lee on one guest basis. So she'll come on and I'll be like, right, Lee, what do you reckon about paedophiles? And then I think it'll go downhill.
That you've given her the warning as of now. So she now has the opportunity. She listens to this episode.
Dude, she won't listen this far. It's 2.5
Well, that's
hours.
it. She had the opportunity to listen to it. So you give it to her. Hey, this is what we're going to do. She listens to the entire thing, signs on, says, yeah, I'll do a guest episode. And fair warning was given, in my opinion. That's my thought. That's my idea. Yep.
Well, I'll leave the ball in the ladies' court.
Very good.
And the fine lady can let us know. I mean, it's fucking hell.
I know you're gearing up.
I promise I will not hold back either. I will treat it like any other episode of Podtoid. So.
And why would she want you to hold back? Why would she want you to deprive her of the opportunity of the full experience? If you're going to be on Podtoid, you got to take it to the limit, like they said.
Take it to the limit. Looking at that pelican, he's watching a pelican.
In it. Yeah, that was great. enjoy the limit, and then go like that later. I could sing that whole song. You got to shut me up. We got to end the show, I think. Should we end it, the show?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot what I
Sure.
was doing for a second.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Podtoid, and I do mean that incredibly. And thank you so much for listening and spreading the word about it, reviewing us on iTunes, buying the Android app on Amazon, sending me a glow-in-the-dark predator and a flying alien queen and other alien stuff. Thank you for all that and for watching videos, what we do. You can catch Jonathan Holmes. He has got an article going up. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be like today. But what's the day today? Tuesday, Wednesday. An article's going up about Resident Evil 6 that he's writing, like what we talked about earlier. He has got an album on Bandcamp, Talking to Women About Video Games, the album.
And I am adding your song to that, I think either tonight or tomorrow, Jim. And did you see the music video?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good video. Yeah, the only difference, for some reason, he used Doctor Strange instead of Dr. Klein for one bit. But
I don't know who Dr. Klein is.
He's a Half-Life character.
Oh, Doctor Strange is good too.
And it works. So yeah, I mean, that's happening. You can watch the Jimquisition every Monday at escapistmagazine.com. Our stuff's always on Destructoid.com. Max isn't here, but you can catch him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Destructoid show, hosted by Rev3, and on the Dtoids YouTube account. So I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, what?
Great job. You've done it.
I've done it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.